Top stories, and right now, what a gorgeous morning. It's 68 degrees, and we're going up to 88 later today. Investigators may be closing in on Austin Drummond. He's the man wanted in the killings of 4 people in Lake County last week. He was caught on a homeowner's camera in Jackson on Sunday night, dressed in camo and carrying a backpack and a rifle. He attempted to enter that residence, but eventually he walks away. News 2's Peyton Kennedy tells us police also searched a campus residence at Union University in Jackson.
On Monday, Union University was placed on lockdown, and officers were seen nearby as the search continued for Drummond, and state troopers were seen checking vehicles entering the Cherry Grove apartments near the university. That apartment complex is where a third suspect was charged with being an accessory after the fact.
Now, the reward for information that leads to Drummond's arrest is now up to $30,000. Here in Nashville, residents of the Harbor View community in Donaldson got tired of waiting for Metro to approve license plate reader cameras, so they installed their own. It's been 8 months, and Channel 4's Dryden Quigley reports on how residents feel about those cameras now.
The data backs it up. During the summer of 2024, the area had 12 incidents. This year, they've had 2, according to the Metro Nashville Police Department crime map. The 3 license plate readers, or LPRs, were approved by 70% of the residents and cost each home 30 cents per day.
Last summer we had over 12 different incidents of cars being broken into, and this summer it's just been silent. We've had nothing going on, and people are saying this isn't the same neighborhood as it was last summer.
Now, that HOA reportedly offers a way for residents to opt out of having their vehicles recorded by emailing the HOA. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com.
Wall Street rebounded to start the week, recovering from Friday's losses. The Dow was up 585 points, the S&P 500 gained 92, and the Nasdaq rose 403 points. Shares of Tyson Foods were up after a profit report beat analysts' expectations. Tesla's board approved a $29 billion interim pay package for CEO Elon Musk. The award is meant to incentivize Musk to focus on Tesla apart from his other companies and political activity. The European Union announced a 6-month suspension of countermeasures on U.S. tariffs following a deal with President Trump. A White House executive order last week set tariffs on most EU goods at 15%. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
And right now, the stock futures are pointing up. We've got Dow futures up 48, NASDAQ futures plus 45, S&P futures, they're up 9 points. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Okay, gotta watch yourself this morning on 24 eastbound in Clarksville. They're wrapping up an overnight paving project between Rossview Road and MLK Parkway, and looks like traffic is stop and go because of it. Also, it's back to school in a number of areas today, including in Metro Nashville, so watch for those big yellow buses. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.506 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to you. It is Tuesday, August 5th of 2025. Joan, have we found those Texas Democrats yet?
Well, we know that they have fled to everywhere else.
Have they been eaten by J.D. Pritzker?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
Yes.
All right, that may have been a lame joke. Anyway, whatever. So that is one of the big stories that we're going to cover today, the fleeing Democrats. You know, one of the things that I love, and there's a lot of things that I love about this particular story, because the Democrats are out there trying to say, oh, Donald Trump and the Republicans, they're trying to do something that is so illegal. You know, they've been doing this for years, even mid-cycle. Even mid-cycle, back in the 1980s, this very same state legislature in Texas, controlled by the Democrats, had mid-cycle gerrymandering. They did. And so the president has been set. And this is just, you know, for the Democrats, this is oh so performative. We are going to get into this a little bit, because I think that there's a lot of things here that are so hypocrisy-laden with the Democrats, because, again, this is what they do. By the way, also, I don't know if you saw this, but Gavin Newsom is now threatening to gerrymander California mid-cycle as well. So to make up for the seats, the 5 seats that Texas Democrats may be losing. So
also, Kathy Hochul in New York, same thing.
Kathy, okay, well,
Yep.
Then you know what? What states can we gerrymander? Let's just fight fire with fire and start, you know, gerrymandering wherever we can to keep the majority in the House of Representatives. That is what we need to do. And can I tell you something? The overarching theme here is that the Democrats play dirty. They have always played it dirty. They call us names. They call us Hitler. They've tried to take out Donald Trump how many times? So I absolutely applaud Republicans for fighting back. I do, because I'm so sick and tired of Republicans always playing nice. And so you've got the governor for the state of Texas, Greg Abbott, and the Ken Paxton, all the folks out there in Texas. I think this is a great thing. Now, the question is, if you're going to have Kathy Hochul in New York do this, and I said this when this whole thing started, Joan, you may recall. I said, is this the fight that the Republicans want to start? Because other states can do it too. And now apparently they are going to in California and New York.
I think you just got to follow the logic with Texas having so many people moving in. Logically, it makes sense to have the redistricting. Mm-hmm. It's also the voice of the people, of who they put in these positions as the representatives of their state. And by fleeing, you are denying the people the rights that, you know, they were promised as they voted.
Well, and here's the thing, is that in all across, I don't know if you saw this, Joan and Sam, I don't know if you saw this, but you've got Republicans in places like Chicago and places like California where they have given examples of absolutely ridiculous redistricting that the Democrats have done over the years. So this is something that both sides have done. I mean, this is one of the fleeing Democrats. Actually, you are. That is exactly what you're doing. You are playing political games, but whatever. So does that mean that when your party did this, this is a Texas lawmaker, fleeing Texas Democrat. So then when your party did it in the 80s, did you complain about it then? And if this is such a corrupt process, then look at Gavin Newsom and Kathy Hochul and tell them to stop their redrawing of district lines as well. You're not going to do that. Absolutely, yeah. I don't. Are they doing? Are the Republicans doing things behind closed door? I think they've been, very upfront with
Very
what it is
transparent.
that they want to do. Right?
Yeah, and one of the representatives in that press conference in Illinois talked about how they had 8 sessions.
Yeah.
So the minutes are recorded. What are you talking about behind closed doors?
Well, this is what the Democrats do. They always say that things are happening in secret, behind closed doors. They're saying this here in Nashville about the tunnel that Elon is going to build, when in reality, this has been an ongoing discussion. So that is, of course, one of the fleeing Democrats. So mid-cycle Texas Democrats, they controlled the state legislature back in the 80s. And this is the story from that period of time. They wanted to reinforce their majorities after losing ground in elections. So Texas Democrats, it was done to counter Republican gains. Was not tied, they say, to the census cycle. The move was controversial at the time and led to legal challenges, though it was not struck down at the time. You did this, Democrats, in the 1980s, specifically in Texas. So deal with it. This is something that politicians and do. This is something that is normal in politics. And apparently it is going to be a lot more normal in the years to come. California did this as well. Another instance is in California in the early 1980s, where Democrats, under the leadership of Congressman Philip Burton, manipulated state legislative maps outside the standard cycle to protect incumbents after political shifts. This was less about population changes and more about securing partisan advantage. So this has been done on both sides. So for the Democrats to sit here and say, oh, the Republicans are breaking the law, blah, 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 BS.
When is the guy that's running and, oh, it's illegal, then why are you running?
It's exactly right.
Why don't you
Stay
have
and fight? Why don't you stay and fight?
Exactly.
By the way, Governor Greg Abbott has ordered the Texas Rangers to launch an investigation into the absconded Democrats for felony bribery. Listen to this. This extends to those who aided and abetted their escape. Reports indicate that many absentee Texas House Democrats have solicited or received funds to evade conducting legislative business and casting votes. Under the Texas Penal Code, any of those Democrats who solicit, accept, or agree to accept such funds to assist in the violation of legislative duties or for purposes of skipping a vote may have violated bribery laws. And so now they're talking about arresting these folks. And I think that is, my opinion, it certainly sounds like it is justified. We'll hear from Governor Greg Abbott coming up. It is 5:15 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. Time to check the roads.
Well, we're looking at some delays on 24 eastbound in Clarksville. That's because of an overnight paving project that looks like it's wrapping up right now. It's between on 24 eastbound between exit 8 and exit 11. Pretty slow in that area this morning. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan. It is 5:15, Nashville's Morning News. As far as your weather for today, high of 84, and it's going to be a feels-like temperature of 93, 40% chance of showers as well, 25% chance of pop-up thunderstorms this afternoon. All right, talking about the fleeing Democrats. Is there a fancy name that anybody's calling these Democrats, guys? Joan or
Weenies?
Or weenies?
I mean,
It's accurate.
okay.
Call them D-heads. Democrat heads.
I bet they wish they had a BNA hole to leave town with.
I bet you they do. Greg Abbott, by the way, says new Texas maps reflect a shifting political reality for the Democrats.
To be honest, the Texas maps are not going to be as extreme as those other blue states that you talked about. But another thing, and that is what Texas is doing under these new maps. 4 of the 5 new seats will be a majority Hispanic seats. One of the seats is going to restore the Barbara Jordan seat over in the Houston area. And so these are seats where Democrats are having to come to grips with the reality. And that is, they are now losing the votes of Hispanics and black voters in the state of Texas. And these districts are going to show that Hispanics and blacks, as well as others, are voting for Republican, and Republican is their candidate of choice. And we will ensure that will be achieved at the congressional level in the state of Texas.
All right, so that is Greg Abbott, governor for the great state of Texas, and he is justifying, and I think that, he doesn't necessarily have to justify it, but he is, stating the case for why they are redistricting right now. But the Democrats will tell you that they're not playing political games. They've always played political games. Now, obviously, what they're going to do is they are going to play the victim, because that's what they do so well. They are hiding out in Chicago. Do you know, by the way, Joan, how they got to Chicago?
By plane, I believe, yes.
The Texas Democrats fled their state in a $47 million Embraer, I don't know, ERJ-170 jet, a private jet.
Owned by?
I don't know. Owned by who?
Likely J.D. Pritzker.
Okay, likely owned by, well, to carry his girth, he needs a big jet. I keep doing that, and I'm not one to talk. Anyway.
He would become that person that Governor Greg Abbott is saying bribed them.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
He would single-handedly take that, the burden of all of them.
Right, because basically J.D. Pritzker is saying, I will send my jet. You guys want to come along to get away and not allow this quorum to happen in Texas? If you want to do that, get on my plane. Come on out.
I think it was a rental. I looked it up. The Daily Mail has it. They hopped on a $17,000 an hour private jet Sunday.
So who paid for that?
Exactly. Taxpayers.
$100,000. That means the flight to Chicago cost nearly $100,000. Texas Republicans, they say, need to launch an emergency investigation into who paid for this seditious stunt.
Yeah.
Which is what people are saying. So, yeah, and the other thing that I would ask is, where are these folks staying in Chicago? Like, where are they staying?
They're staying at, J.D. Pritzker's family is of the Hyatt hotels. So he's putting them up at his hotels.
Can you imagine if Donald Trump did that with his hotels?
Can you imagine?
Oh, my goodness gracious.
And they have to have private security. They're in Chicago.
Yeah. You know what? For me, I think this whole thing is going to turn into another train wreck for the Democrats. I do believe, because, and Joan, you and I spoke about this the other day, where remember when Texas Democrats fled the state during that whole
2021
when they were fighting about voting laws in the state of Texas. And ultimately, that whole thing ended up with Democrats with a whole bunch of egg on their face, because at the end of the day, in Georgia, the Democrats, Stacey Abrams, right? Remember that whole thing?
Mm-hmm.
Stacey Abrams forced the All-Star game to Lily White, Denver. Remember that whole conversation?
Yes.
Where it was supposed to be in Atlanta, but because of the racist Jim Crow voting laws, they moved it out of Atlanta into Denver. And all those black businesses in the state of Georgia, and specifically in the city of Atlanta, lost.
Yep.
I mean, it was millions.
Yep.
How much? Was it like $100 million or something like that
it
those
was
black
huge.
businesses
it was
lost?
Huge.
Because of Stacey Abrams and because of the Democrats. This is the kind of lunacy, this is the kind of stupidity that the Democrats do.
Do you remember the last time also that the Texas Democrats fled, which was 2021, and they went to D.C. and so many of them caught COVID?
I don't remember that one.
Oh, man, that was It was
that
like,
when they were out in front of the Capitol singing "We Shall Overcome" or whatever the hell it was?
Probably.
My goodness.
Yep.
By the way, Republicans also, again, talking about how if they don't return, they are going to be arrested.
Nays, the motion prevails. The sergeant at arms and any officers appointed by her are directed to send for all absentees whose attendance is not excused for the purposes of securing and maintaining their attendance under warrant of arrest if necessary until further order of the House.
There you go. So they're going to ultimately.
But does that mean that they can cross state lines to go arrest them, or is that only within the state of Texas?
I don't know. That's a great question.
I haven't been able to identify anywhere where the sergeant at arms could order someone across state lines to go to Illinois and to go to the J.B. Pritzker Hyatt hotels.
Right.
And arrest these people.
Initial research says no civil arrest warrants are generally not enforceable across state lines. I wonder if the DOJ picks it up and allows it to be federalized, however.
Yeah, if they can figure out a way to do that, I think that's a great idea. They need to be able to figure out a way to do this vote without these people. That's and I've been harping on that for days. Why did you not make it so that if and it doesn't have to be the Democrats or Republicans, whatever. If you have a bunch of fleeing state legislators in the state of Texas, then as they're known to do, as they're prone to do, then they say the quorum is what the quorum is. And if they choose to hold up a state vote that the state's attorney general wants to do and the state's governor wants to do and the majority state legislature wants to do, then they should not be allowed to hold things up. They should have, and maybe there's something that they can do, but they need to be able to take these votes, quorum be damned.
Well, and that's what Greg Abbott, the governor, has been saying, that he's going to remove them from their posts. But so far, he hasn't done that.
Then do it.
Yeah.
Then
get on it, buddy.
That's exactly right. Joan, get on it. 5:30. Yeah. What's in your newscast? Come on.
Well, President Trump is signing an executive order today, and it has something to do with Los Angeles. But this time, it's a welcome development. Also, we've got the latest on those Texas Democrats who fled the state. Those stories coming up here at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
528, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. You know what they say, Joan?
What do they say, Dan?
Once you've lost Chuck Todd, you've lost the nation.
Uh-oh.
So even Chuck Todd, need some audio, even Chuck Todd is out there calling out the Democrats, specifically, by the way, Illinois, where they are, I guess, the poster child, if you will, for gerrymandering and giving the Democrats more power by gerrymandering. Chuck Todd was on CNN, and he actually called out the Democrats. And he says, oh, yeah, this is a bad look for democracy.
It seems as if the strategy is bring more attention to this, make everybody uncomfortable, right? The more painful you make the process in Texas, the more it's hard to replicate. Maybe there isn't. They may be their own colleagues aren't as interested in this. Congressional Republicans that serve in Texas, whose districts are actually going to get impacted negatively, also secretly are kind of hoping this goes away too. And I think they think the more painful they can make this in doing it, maybe there's a way to shut this down. So I understand the strategy, and I think you get this. The part that I think is sort of bad, I think it's a bad look for a party that claims to be always trying to protect the democracy, is to hole up in a state that gerrymanders. The state of Illinois. I mean, one of the worst, look, Texas, Florida, Illinois, and Maryland. Those are your four giant gerrymandered states. And if you're trying to make a point on gerrymandering, I don't think I'd be going to the state of Illinois as a place to hide.
Yeah, you again, not to belabor the point, but you go on X this morning, and in the last couple of days, you do see examples of Illinois and how they have gerrymandered themselves, where they have redrawn districts, and they redraw districts where it's just like a patchwork of areas so that they can give themselves, the Democrats, more political power. It is 5:30 on WTN.
Good morning. Now 5:30. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories, and it's still stop and go in Clarksville on eastbound 24 between exit 4 and 11 as the overnight paving project there is wrapping up. Los Angeles and President Trump haven't always gotten along well, but today the president is doing something that L.A. welcomes with open arms.
With the signing of an executive order, President Trump will today create a White House Olympics task force. It'll be focused on security for the games and other planning like transportation. It comes at a time when the city of L.A. and the Trump administration have been at odds over several issues, including the recent immigration raids here. The head of LA 28 says a task force is an important step in planning for the biggest and greatest games, quote, the world has ever seen. Alex Stone, ABC News, Los Angeles.
LA 28 Chairman Casey Wasserman is expected to join President Trump at the White House this afternoon for that signing. Metro Nashville school students return to classes today. 1st through 12th grade will have a full day of classes. Kindergarten and preschool kids, they'll be half day. Also back to school today is DeKalb, Lincoln, Macon, Moore, Perry, Robertson, and Warren counties. Of course, got to watch out for those big yellow buses and all those kids. In Texas, Democrat lawmakers who ran away rather than vote on a redistricting plan are subject to arrest now.
I will immediately sign the warrants for the civil arrest of the members who have said they will not be here.
Governor Greg Abbott there calling on Texas Department of Public Safety to arrest what he calls the delinquent Texas House Democrats. They are all sheltering, as we have said, in Illinois and in New York. And Abbott says he'll consider it bribery if any lawmaker took money to perform or refused to perform an act in the legislature. The saga is far from over. That is the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Yeah, the only big holdup that I'm seeing at the moment is that problem on 24 eastbound in Clarksville. It's work on the roadways, the paving project there. They say they're wrapping it up. It's between exit 4 and exit 11, but still pretty slow in that area. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Supertalk 99.7 WTN.
.536, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to your friends. Hope you are doing well. And welcome on in to a Tuesday, August 5th. By the way, I don't know if we had weather there. High of 84 and it feels like temperature of 93 today, 40% chance of showers. Joan, you shared with me a story yesterday that was incredibly funny about a bat. This is from Fox
Now
News.
I have to go find it.
And this was funny.
Do you have it? Yeah.
I do. So, of course, my first thought was, this is how we get the next COVID, right? The headline is, bat flies into tourist's mouth during Arizona night sky photography trip.
Isn't that just so like you think about that? Blah!
Listen, people eat bat soup.
Tastes like chicken.
Tastes like chicken. Have anybody ever had bat soup?
No.
You know what I want to know? Oh, shoot. I don't have the super text line up. Can you put the super text line up, Joan? Has anybody ever had bat soup? I'm genuinely curious. Crazy, all that discussion of COVID way back when and about how they eat in China, I guess, bat soup.
Yeah.
I never asked what it tastes like. And is there any place we could actually get bat soup here in Nashville?
Is there a reason that we would honestly want bat soup?
Do you know, I'm going to send Sam out to get some bat soup, and he's gonna have it just so that we know what it tastes like. It's called an initiation, Sam.
I mean, you're talking to the wrong guy. I did all the dumb challenges in high school.
Oh, did you?
Bring it on. The gallon challenge, the cinnamon challenge.
Oh, my goodness.
Did you ever eat a Tide Pod?
No.
Because, you're not a dumb A until you actually eat a Tide Pod.
I like to believe I have a triple-digit IQ that would prevent that from happening.
I'm sorry, you just said that you did the cinnamon challenge.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, but that was more a strength of brawn than it was brain.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
Okay, let's remind people what the cinnamon challenge was.
You ate a spoonful of dry cinnamon.
And then what happened?
And it clogged your airways and you couldn't breathe. And you had to try and spit it up even though you were all dried out.
And you're saying
Did you feel
that
like
was...
you almost lost consciousness kind of thing? Were you that close?
No.
And you believe that is indicative of brawn and
as
not
a teenager.
brains.
As a teenager.
Okay, you know what? I'm not going to judge. I
am.
You know what the crazy thing is, Joan? Like the stupid things that we did as a kid.
Yeah.
Toilet paper,
Right.
somebody's front lawn, ding dong ditch. You know, that kind of thing.
Did you ever make like you ran a string across the roadway as cars were coming?
What?
Yeah, you make like one kid's on one side and you're pretending the whole time that you're rolling out a string across the roadway as a car is coming down the street, and then the car stops and they're like, "What are you doing?"
No.
Yeah, I did that.
Oh yeah.
Why would you do that? Is that what people did in like New Jersey for fun?
Good old Summers Point, New Jersey. You bet we did.
That and fire hydrants.
Fire hydrants?
Yeah.
Open the
Cracking them
fire
open.
hydrants? Yeah, I wouldn't know how to open it. How do you do that? Which is like a big old wrench kind of a thing?
Or you smack it really hard with a hammer and break it.
You ever do the, I bet you, Sam, I'm gonna bet right now, I'm going to put money down that Sam did this. Did you ever do the thing where a car is coming around the corner and you pull your pants down and show your butt to cars?
No, when we did it, we were in the car hanging it out the window.
Got it. Okay.
That way we could get multiple people at once.
And you did that?
No, I was the driver.
Of course. My brother would do that all the time. You know what my brother did one time? They actually would try to fart on a match and try to get it to light.
It works better with a lighter.
Says the voice of knowledge. What?
You need a steady, constant flame in order for the methane to, carry it. Matches burn out too quickly.
My brother and his friend Vince, one time they they ate like a ton of burritos and beans to try to, conjure up a bunch of farts. And that's what they did. And it's like, what are you doing? Whatever.
Science, Dan. It was
Yeah,
science.
science.
So back to the bat story real quickly. I guess they were out, and while snapping the photos, a woman in New Jersey, a bat flew directly into her mouth. That'd have to be a small bat, I guess.
Bats are pretty small, though.
She said, I don't know what part of the bat went into my mouth, maybe the wing or the head. She says, I had to strap around my camera around my head so that it wouldn't fall down, So it got kind of trapped between my mouth and the camera.
And this was a nighttime excursion?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Arizona is home to 28 species of bats that assemble in areas near lights. It's crazy when you see those bats and all the images and the videos of the flying bats.
When I lived in Maryland, we had a house with an in-ground pool, big in-ground pool. And at nighttime, we would love to go out as the evening was setting, and we'd love to go out and just float in the pool. But the bats were crazy, dipping down into the water, and it scared the daylights out of us until we realized what they're doing is they're going after the little bugs that are on top of the water, and But still, you feel like they're attacking you instead of, they're trying to eat the bugs, which is a good thing.
If you really want to see them in Tennessee, you got to go to a high school football game on a Friday night with those spotlights on the field, all the bugs that fly around them. They are just darting in and out. One time, one came down into the crowd back when I was a senior, and it was kind of funny for us, but not for the lady. By the way, if you wanted me to try bat soup, you're going to have to send me to Indonesia. The meat is illegal in the U.S.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm totally down to go to Indonesia, though.
The leading cause of human rabies death is contact with infected bats.
Yeah.
So this poor woman had to go to the hospital, apparently, to get a rabies shot.
Wow.
Only to realize that her treatment was not covered. So
By her insurance company?
No, because she was like in between jobs and all that. So this bat flying into her mouth cost her $20,000.
Oh, my goodness.
Yep. Has anybody on the Super Text line, Joan, has anybody actually tried bat soup?
Well, so we've had responses like, hey, Dan, why don't you ask Batman? Wouldn't he eat bat soup? Mandis is bat soup crazy. As they call it on Anchorman 2, it's chicken of the cave. No,
All right,
but
that's
I've
good.
been bat-S.
Do you know
I've
what?
been married to a couple of bats.
I like how you went over the New Jersey women tend to have big mouths text.
I didn't.
Oh, you didn't
What?
see that one conveniently?
Yeah.
New Jersey women tend to have big mouths.
Yeah.
Wow. Joan, you got any comment to that? I didn't see
Okay,
that.
4702, I got you.
Oh,
I
4702.
got you.
You know what? 4702 is always picking on me. It's like, whatever. By the way, do you know what Chris Hand and I are going to do for our next podcast?
What's that?
We are going to read hate mail.
Oh, I think that's a fantastic. I love that idea.
Because I get, and you know what the weird thing is? Like, I don't know why I evoke such hatred in people. Because I don't think I'm not controversial. I don't think. I mean, I'm a genuine conservative, but I get the meanest things. And so the reason why we're going to do this is because I'm actually going to read them without bleeps or tone or anything.
Wow.
I am going to read, and I'm going to read everything.
With the words?
With the words and everything.
Wow.
Yep.
Oh, I guess you can because it's a podcast.
Yeah, I have been called everything. I have been called every name in the book. And again, for the life of me, I don't know why, but whatever. So yeah, so Chris and I are going to do that. I forwarded a couple to Chris, and he says, "Wow, I never get stuff like that." And I said, "You've got to step it up, Hand.
Right.
Get the kind of hate mail that I get."
Right.
We're going to be without Sam tomorrow, John.
Why? Where you think you're going, mister?
I got tickets
Oh.
to a concert tonight.
I
He's going to
remember
go
you
see
telling us
Rob
this.
Thomas
Yeah.
As he rips off the rest of the guys in Matchbox 20 by singing Matchbox 20 songs, but not touring with Matchbox 20.
He wrote most of them.
I had the guitarist for Matchbox 20 on this show one time.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, many, many years ago. I even forgot his name. Anyway, so that's going to be fun for you. I saw Matchbox 20 many, 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 many years ago. Have I told this story before, Joan? You tell me if I've told this story before on the air.
Okay.
It was August 24th of 2001, Long Island, New York. Place called, is it Wantagh? Something like that, New York.
Okay.
And as I'm coming back, I went by myself, and I got free tickets, whatever. So,
That's kind of sad, but go ahead.
well, my wife at the time wasn't exactly into Matchbox 20. That was number one, and we had youngins at the time. So I went by myself, and I believe that I was working for a stage, something, I don't remember exactly what it was, but I'm coming back from the train. Great concert. And I meet some dude on the train. Now, number one, dude starts hitting on me, right? So it's one of those kind of weird things.
Ugh.
So
Thank you, New York.
I'm like, oh yeah, whatever, dude. It's just like 11, 12 o'clock at night, right? And so, but then the guy tells me, New York is going to be attacked.
What?
He told me on August 24th of 2001 at the train station, by the way, I'm paraphrasing, keep your head on a swivel, New York is going to be attacked. On August 24th of 2001. September 11th was a few weeks away.
Did you get this guy's name? Anything?
No, I wanted to get away from him as fast as I possibly could.
Understood.
But yeah, he said that. And I didn't think anything of it until 9/11 happened, of course, and I was in New York for 9/11. People know that story. And then I didn't really think about that until a few days after 9/11, and I was like, that guy. And it's always just struck me. Now, on the one hand, New York is a perpetual, and was at that time certainly a perpetual target. So it's not much of a, it's not, yes, New York is always a target, so it's not that much of a stretch to say that New York is going to be attacked. But I've always remembered that. So weird, so crazy.
Wow, that is insane.
Yeah.
Did he appear to be Muslim?
No, he was not Muslim. The only thing I remember about this guy is that he was very American looking, and he had like short curly hair, and he was really creepy. So
wow,
that's what I remember. Very strange.
You said your tickets were free to that show?
Yes, yeah, because I wouldn't have gone otherwise. Yeah,
that's why I'm going. Is my tickets are free.
Oh,
so
you got free tickets?
Yeah. So if someone warns me of an impending terrorist attack, I think I should probably take it very seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah, you probably should.
For sure. Are you going to New York?
No, it's first concert at Ascend for me. I've been to every other venue in Nashville except for Ascend, so I'm pretty stoked.
Ascend is absolutely amazing. By the way, Joan, I'm going to a concert as well.
I don't care who you are, where you're from.
Backstreet Boys at the Sphere in Las Vegas.
Amy is so excited about this.
So she says to me a while ago she wanted to do this. And listen, I'm going to be honest with you. My poor wife has to put up with a lot from me. So she said that she wanted to go. So I said, okay, well, you know what? If this is what you want to do, we can go do it,
And you're wondering why gay men hit on you, honestly. I'm just saying.
Okay, just so we're clear.
What are you wearing to this concert, Dan?
The only song I know is this. And I've been singing it for days. Anyway, so Amy's actually picking us out outfits. She wants me to wear, because I guess part of what they're doing is with one of their albums, all the guys are in like white or something. So she wants me to wear white, which I never wear white. And so she wants me to wear white. So I'm going to wear white, whatever. And so she is putting our outfits together. And I said, I'm going to be the oldest guy there at the Sphere in Las Vegas. By the way, it's their last show.
Oh, really?
Their last show at the Sphere. And Amy said that she wanted to do it. I said, fine. Then she said, I don't want to do it. And then I said, are you sure? Because I already said, I'm fine with going. And she's like, no. And then finally, a couple of days ago, she made the decision that, yep, we're going to go. I've always wanted to go to the Sphere. I've always wanted to go to the Sphere. And you know what? To be honest, this is the exact opposite of what I like to listen to. Like me and boy bands.
Yeah.
So, but you know what? As I said, my little woman has to put up with so much that, I'm going to go ahead and do that.
You need to jam out to "I Want It That Way." That's probably their biggest
there you
hit.
go.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know that song. This is the only song I know, Sam. Really going to do that? You're going to make me now feel inferior because that's the song that I chose?
That's going to be the song that she's going to get all fangirly about, and her eyes are going to swell up for, and you need to be lyric for lyric with her inside the Sphere.
Were you into the Backstreet Boys there, Joan? You might be a little. You might be. There's no offense, but you might be a little. You might have been a little old for the Backstreet Boys.
Thanks, Dan.
You know what? The second I started down that road, I thought, abort.
Yeah, and you didn't.
No.
Congratulations.
I probably should have.
No, my daughter is into Big Time Rush. She was when she was a kid.
Oh, my gosh.
So we go to those concerts. So whenever she says, Mom, they're on tour again, we have to go see Big Time Rush.
Yeah, I'm going to be very interested to see.
It's so funny because when you look around at this concert, it's me and my daughter and moms and their daughters. The whole place is filled with moms and their daughters. It's so funny. Yeah. And we all kind of like nod at each other like, yeah, I get it.
I'm going to be very interested to see how many older guys like me are there with their wives. I'm going to be very interested.
I bet there's a lot. I bet there's a lot.
You think so?
Yeah, I do. I do.
The artists, aren't they like in their 40s as well? And you'd pass for your 40s, so,
Oh, what
you
a
do
And if you're
not
gonna
have
dress
to
like them-
suck up to him.
if you're going to dress like them, you could, pass as a backup dancer.
Do you know what? Oh,
Sneak on stage.
Oh my gosh. Can you imagine, Dan?
I could totally.
you know what? Here's the deal. So it's going to be very difficult. I'm going to be perfectly honest now that it is going to be very difficult for me not to do a little white man sort of.
White man overbite?
White man overbite, kind of rolling along to the music. It's going to be hard for me to do that.
Yeah.
Because this is somewhat rhythmic. It has a melody to it and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah. I guess her favorite was Kevin. So.
I'm a Joey fan, personally.
Okay.
Joey Fatone.
Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't tell them apart. Do you know what's so funny? And this is no offense to the Backstreet Boys, but if you put them in front of me, like I wouldn't know a Backstreet Boy from a Man at Work.
So you wouldn't know them from NSYNC?
Men at Work that was a joke.
Oh.
If you have to explain it.
Dated.
And no, I wouldn't know a Backstreet Boy from an NSYNC to a Big Time Rush. I don't know any of those people. I don't. So, okay. But I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be fun. I've always wanted to go to the Sphere. So we'll see how that goes. Amy says that if I start, like bobbing, and then sing, she's going to get video.
The white man overbite. Thank you, Amy.
She'll send it to Joan.
Okay. I'm into it. I love it.
Anyway, Joan was coming up at 6.
Well, there has been a sighting of that man suspected of killing 4 people in West Tennessee. We'll tell you about it. Also, a Tennessee man who's been on death row for decades. He's being put to death this morning. Stick around for that and more at 6 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
5:59, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. By the way, watch us on YouTube. Watch us everywhere, but specifically YouTube. This morning, the YouTube poll is, do you believe, and we're going to get into this coming up in the next hour, do you believe that the grand jury will come back with any recommendation of charges related to Russiagate? So right now, it looks like we have 47% of y'all say that, yes, the grand jury on Russiagate will come back with a recommendation of charges. 52% of you say no. So, Jonah, it looks like we've actually got a pretty good poll today.
Nice.
All right. So watch us again on YouTube. By the way, also don't forget, Mark Levin is going to join us at 7. Got a lot more straight ahead. Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. It's now 6 o'clock. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. In Jackson, Tennessee, a homeowner sharing a doorbell camera video with investigators who are searching for accused killer Austin Drummond.
He was spotted outside of someone's home Sunday night. This was in Jackson, Tennessee. Now you can see him again walking up to this door and trying to get in that door. It was locked. Now another video shows him in all camouflage and armed. He is considered to be extremely dangerous and still at large this morning.
That's WSMV's Danielle Ledbetter. In the latest in the Texas redistricting fight, Texas House Republicans voting to authorize the sergeant at arms to civilly arrest Democrats who fled the state in protest of the GOP redistricting efforts.
In this dramatic fight over redistricting, DPS has been ordered to locate, arrest, and bring back any fleeing lawmakers to the House chamber. Governor Greg Abbott also wants them investigated for possible criminal violations, possibly bribery, he says, suggesting that they are being paid to break quorum.
That's ABC's Jessica Willey. Meantime, New York Governor Kathy Hochul embraces gerrymandering of congressional districts in New York.
This is a war. We are at war. And that's why the gloves are off, and I say, bring it on.
Those comments coming yesterday as she sat alongside 6 Democrat lawmakers from Texas who fled that state. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com.
From ABC News, Wall Street now. Stocks snapped their losing streak Monday with the Dow Jones gaining 585 points to close at 44,173. The S&P finished ahead by 1.5%, its best session since May. The NASDAQ composite picked up nearly 2%. Both Toyota and Honda are expected to report that profits fell more than 30% in the latest quarter compared to last year. Both automakers are wrestling with President Trump's tariffs on foreign-made cars and car parts. Home mortgage rates have dropped to their lowest level in 10 months, just under 6.6% for the average 30-year note. The slide comes after last week's weaker-than-expected jobs report, but potential buyers are still facing record-high home prices. Sales of heavy trucks, those that weigh more than 14,000 pounds gross weight, fell 12% in July compared to the same month last year. History shows that heavy truck sales declined sharply prior to a recession. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
And stock futures are pointing up this morning. That is the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. got a problem on 24 westbound in Antioch. It's a crash that takes out 2 right lanes at Harding Place this morning. That's causing quite a backup. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.606 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Really looking forward to my conversation with the great one, Mark Levin. That is coming up at 7:06. He has a new book out, and we'll be talking to him about it. It's called On Power, and really looking forward to that conversation at 7:06 on Nashville's Morning News. Russiagate, big news yesterday. Pam Bondi has now instructed the DOJ to launch a grand jury investigation into the intelligence regarding President Trump and Russia heading into the 2016 election. Now, remember what a grand jury investigation is, right? The DOJ will present evidence to a group of citizens to decide if there is enough evidence to move forward with actual charges of a crime. So they'll recommend whether or not charges should be brought. And so Pam Bondi wants a federal prosecutor to present evidence into the likes of former Director of National Intelligence, James Clapper. Now, you remember James Clapper, right? This is a guy that was shoulder deep in all of this attempt to derail and distract and politically assassinate Donald Trump. I mean, here's part of what he said.
There was spying against the campaign. We're losing sight here of what started all this, and that was the Russian meddling, the Russian interference in our election process.
Now, remember the accusations that Hillary paid for the dirty dossier, fabricated the lies in it, passed it along to the FBI under Obama. They, of course, leaked it to the media. All of this with the help of George Soros, and that led to the Mueller investigation. And so you, again, just heard James Clapper. That was during an interview with CNN way back when, where as they all made the rounds on TV during the early part of the Trump administration, that's the other part of this, where you have John Brennan, you have James Clapper, you had Hillary Clinton, even Barack Obama himself would run around MSNBC, the networks, The View, you name it, CNN, and they would all say, oh, the Russians, when they were the ones who orchestrated this hoax. And so, yeah, I'd be willing to bet that they want to talk to Hillary Clinton.
Technical efforts?
I mean, if you're going to let Russia get away with what they did and are still doing, according to Christopher Wray, the current FBI director who said that last week, they're in our election systems. We're worried about 2020, he said.
I mean, my God, when you think about the lies, when you think about the amount of lies that these Democrats told to the American people, and it's been going on for a long time. And it's like, if you think back to all of the lies that the Democrats have been telling us for years, I mean, this is just one in a series of lies that the Democrats have told regarding Donald Trump, regarding, Joe Biden, and regarding the border. I mean, you think about the modern day Democrat Party. Heck, you could even talk about Obama saying if you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. I mean, we could go through all of that. This, though, at least to me, the biggest lie of all, trying to essentially reverse a duly elected president of the United States, reverse the vote of the American people by trying to make things so bad for him, tie him up in all of these investigations, that he is unable, and he was unable to do the things that he was elected to do. And yeah, Hillary Clinton, I just played the audio of her. She's the one that paid for the dossier, full of lies, discredited. But the likes of James Clapper and John Brennan, the head of the CIA, said that it was legit. They said that it should be used to launch investigations into Donald Trump. Former FBI Director James Comey, of course, he was in on it.
There should be no fuzz on this whatsoever. The Russians interfered in our election during the 2016 cycle.
Right. I mean, and that was in front of Congress, James Comey. He knew the dossier was unverified, but used it as evidence in the FBI investigation. Comey briefed Obama on all of this. And of course, it does appear that Obama was in on the whole thing as well. Odds are he's going to have immunity, but I don't think these other people will. Fox News analyst Jonathan Turley, he was on last night, and he had a lot to say.
This is the first necessary step to finding out about the real Russian conspiracy. There never was a Russian collusion conspiracy.
Yeah, he's talking about Pam Bondi going after and asking for a grand jury investigation.
That was hatched by the Clinton campaign. They secretly funded the Steele dossier. They denied that to the media, and they laid out this very successful political hit job using the media, using the government. It's amazing how much the public still doesn't know. But in the last few weeks, this administration has given us information that we haven't seen before. I've been following this, writing about it for years. Some of this is new stuff, and it's startling.
Yeah, it is startling. We have all of the new emails. We have the new angle where George Soros and his Open Society, I think is what it is. He was involved in all of this as well. We know that Hillary Clinton, she was the one that was orchestrating all of this. We know that she approved of the plan. That is in email form, that HRC approved of the plan to go after and try to frame or set up Donald Trump. And Jonathan Turley, he talks about how this is going to be a long road to accountability. We're talking about 9 years that all of this happened. And it is going to be a long road to accountability if it gets out of the grand jury phase. And I believe that that is a big if, because remember, if it does go to a grand jury, where will that grand jury be based out of? Well, if it's Washington, D.C., good luck with that, because as I've said many times now, very blue, and Donald Trump has fired half that town. So it is going to be an issue. Now, maybe they can get it out of Washington, D.C. We'll have to wait and see how this whole thing plays out. But Turley says, people in Washington, D.C., they are lawyering up.
I think today about half the lawyers in the city went on retainer. About 40 minutes ago, you just lost about 50% of the bar in terms of client base. The reason is that there are a lot of people, a lot of powerful people in this town that have already been mentioned in some of these releases. The most at risk, the most exposed include people like John Brennan, who I've been writing a lot about. It's very hard to square his testimony before Congress with what was just released. And he and Clapper, who is also at risk here, just published an op-ed in the New York Times. If they didn't have counsel before, they should get it now, because I was astonished by that column. I was astonished the New York Times published it because it seems to me strikingly untrue.
Yeah, I mean, that column, it was a joint opinion piece written by Brennan, written by Clapper, and they denied everything. They denied everything that is coming out now, which is crazy, because Tulsi Gabbard and Pam Bondi and Kash Patel, they've got the receipts. They've got the email verification. They've got the backup. It is clear. And some of these documents, they were found in burn bags. So it is clear, at least to me, and I played you folks the audio many times, it is clear that John Brennan lied under oath about the dossier, at first saying before Congress the dossier was not used as justification for changing the intelligence community assessment when, according to the emails, they actually did use it as as part of that intelligence community assessment and how they changed it. And so this is going to be a big problem for John Brennan.
But they say that they didn't rely on the Steele dossier, which has been largely debunked, the one funded by the Clinton campaign. These documents indicate that Brennan may have personally intervened to guarantee that the dossier was part of this infamous assessment that occurred at the very end of the Obama administration.
Yeah, and they also spoke about what charges could actually be brought up against James Clapper and John Brennan and some of these other folks. I've got that part of the story for you coming up. It is 6:15, time to check the roads on WTN. Thank you very much. As far as your weather goes, again, pleasant, especially when you compare it to what we had last week. Today, a high of 84 with a feels-like temperature of 93, 40% chance of showers, 25% chance of pop-up thunderstorms in the afternoon. So talking about that New York Times guest opinion piece, you know, at this point, everyone involved from the Obama administration, I think that they do really need to just shut up and lawyer up because of what we're seeing. And when you've got, I mean, there's so many people out there that will simply, what's the right way to put this? They'll roll their eyes at the Trump administration. They'll roll their eyes at a Pam Bondi. They'll roll their eyes at Donald Trump. They'll roll their eyes at Tulsi Gabbard. They can roll their eyes all they want. But you have the DNI, you have the Attorney General, you have the director of the FBI, and you've got the president of the United States. Like it or not, take them seriously or not, but when you look at all of the evidence that has been uncovered, there's some very serious allegations. So now the all-important questions will be, once it goes to the grand jury, we'll have to see where it goes, but who will be charged with what? Jonathan Turley says Obama will probably be in the clear, but who knows? You know, I would say swing for the fences, but who knows about Obama? He may have immunity. But you've still got Hillary Clinton, John Brennan, James Clapper, James Comey, and whomever else they may go after.
Even if the statute of limitations has run, these people are likely to be questioned again. So they could be subject to the trifecta of the most common charges, the ones the prosecutors love the most, which are things like obstruction, false statements to federal investigators, and perjury. The Obama administration used those quite widely, so did the special counsel. Those are likely to appear again now. So even if the statute of limitations has run, it won't run on new statements. It'll just start again. And if there is a conspiracy, as been suggested by the chairman of the House Oversight Committee, that conspiracy may have elongated that statute of limitations.
Yeah, that's what everybody's saying, is that if this is a conspiracy and, you know, people are saying, and I believe that it is true, that the raid on Mar-a-Lago actually had nothing to do with anything other than the FBI and the Department of Justice trying to get documents back that would have implicated them in all of this conspiracy. Because I'm sure that they kept them in Melania's underwear drawer. Anyway, so this is going to be a really interesting story, and I think this is going to be one of those stories that is going to continue to percolate, and we will continue to cover it for you here on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Have you seen, Joan, have you seen the interview that Jim Acosta has done with a dead
I almost forgot who he is, but no, I'm kidding.
With a dead person?
What?
Jim Acosta interviewed a dead person.
All right, he's completely lost his mind.
I will tell you about that story and a whole lot more straight ahead. It is Nashville's Morning News. Don't forget Mark Levin, the great one, coming up at 7:05. And right now, Joan Jones has the news at 6:30. Joan, what do you got?
Yeah, we'll tell you why some people are not going to be receiving a Social Security check anymore. That's coming up here at 6:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Back to school time, and that means that Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling is bringing the buzz with huge savings and sweet giveaways as well. Now, if you've got septic issues, now is the time to get it fixed. Get 15% off any septic work. That's right, 15% off any septic work, main drain lines, or whole home repipes. Again, 15% off. Huge savings from Busy Bee. You can upgrade your HVAC system and get entered to win the Healthy Hive giveaway, a $1,500 sponsorship to the local school of your choice. That's huge. Now, you join the Beehive Club, and you can get a free membership to a local teacher, coach, or faculty member. You buy one gift, you can gift one. It is just that simple. So you buy one, you gift one. From Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Breathe easier with $100 off indoor air quality products. The whole point with all of these savings is that they do provide you at Busy Bee HVAC with a lot of different ways to save. Call them to get started, 615-775-7833, 615-775-7833. Find them online anytime. It is busybeehvac.com. .624 Nashville's Morning News on WTN. I want to tell you about my friends at DT McCall's, one of my favorite companies in Middle Tennessee. This is where I go for my furniture. A great company. They've been here for their fellow Tennesseans with great prices, selection, and value for over 100 years. DT McCall's, and if you need it, they've got it. Indoor furniture, appliances. You've got a room to fill, go to DT McCall's Appliances. If it plugs in, they've got it. And always, by the way, at DT McCall's, great specials going on to save you money. Just go to their website. You can see all of the specials they have on the best brands of appliances like washer and dryer sets, dishwashers, and a whole lot more. DT McCall's, again, they've been at it for over 100 years, 3 generations, with a focus on customer service. And by the way, if you buy it, they'll deliver it for free and haul away the old stuff. 5 locations all across Middle Tennessee, Carthage, Cookeville, Lebanon, Lafayette, and Franklin. Always online, dtmccalls.com. .626 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. All right, so the internet needs some audio. The internet was aghast, Joan Jones.
Over.
As Jim Acosta interviews a dead person. So he interviewed a fake AI interview with Parkland shooting victim Joaquin Oliver. And of course, it was, an anti-gun conversation. This is what it sounded like.
Joaquin, I would like to know what your solution would be for gun violence.
Great question. I believe in a mix of stronger gun control laws, mental health support, and community engagement. We need to create safe spaces for conversations and connections, making sure everyone feels seen and heard. It's about building a culture of kindness and understanding. What do you think about that?
I think that's a great idea, Joaquin.
People were absolutely aghast at what he did. Now, it should be noted that the parents of Joaquin Joaquin Oliver, they were the ones that provided the AI image and so forth, working with the gun control group Change the Ref, founded by Oliver's parents. Acosta had the conversation on his Substack with an avatar created by the father of the son, who was killed in the Parkland High School shooting back in 2018. He would have turned 25 on Monday. Do you know what I would say to this? Number one, these parents have no idea what their son or how their son would have thought about firearms at the age of 25. Because clearly there's a difference between, someone who is, 16 or 17 and the age of 25. He could have morphed into a big time, Second Amendment supporter. That's number one. So I'm aghast that the parents would do this, politicize their son. But here's a few of the missives on social media, because I thought that these were spot on. Jim Acosta is now conducting fake interviews with AI recreations of dead children programmed to agree with him on gun control. Believe it or not, CNN may have kept him from being an even bigger psychotic freak. Another one. Jim Acosta, who took great offense to being labeled fake news, is now conducting fake interviews with dead people for content and clicks. Another one. In Jim's defense, he probably has a very difficult time finding anyone alive willing to appear on his show. And finally, Jim Acosta hitting rock bottom, conducting a news interview with an AI chat bot of a child who was killed in a school shooting so that he, Acosta, can push partisan politics. I mean, they're absolutely right. I mean, I was horrified when I saw this.
Somebody in the YouTube chat said, are we sure Jim's not an AI?
You know what?
He sounds pre-programmed to me.
He does. Jim Acosta is absolutely pre-programmed and not very well programmed either, as a matter of fact, for Jim Acosta.
It's just disgusting behavior to promote a line of ideology that doesn't track. This guy that allegedly committed these quadruple murders in East Tennessee was seen on a camera with an assault-style rifle, and he's a felon.
So one of the things that if you want to check this out, you can find it on my X feed at Dan Manda Show. Also, don't forget, find me on X at Dan Manda Show. Mark Levin is joining me at 7:05 right here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good Good morning. It's 6:30, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Governor Bill Lee has declined to intervene in today's scheduled execution of Byron Black. He's the man on Tennessee's death row for decades for the murder of his girlfriend and her two young daughters in 1988. Now, that announcement from Governor Lee came after the U.S. Supreme Court denied the many appeals filed by Byron Black's lawyers, citing his intelligence level and concerns over his implanted defibrillator. Black is scheduled to die at 10 o'clock this morning. The federal government will soon stop sending out paper checks for payment, part of President Trump's efforts to cut down on costs and cut down on fraud, and that includes Social Security checks.
So if you receive a check in the mail each month, you will either have to sign up for that direct deposit or the money will be put on a prepaid debit card. Now, the change goes into effect September 30th.
Now, that's WSMV4's Holly Thompson there. If you do need a paper check, you can sign a waiver. You've got to call Social Security for information on how to do that. A new option for families at the airport as officials take more steps to streamline security. ABC's Rhiannon Alley has more on that.
The TSA's new Families on the Fly campaign is geared towards groups traveling with kids 12 and under and creates dedicated security lanes for families, discounts on TSA PreCheck, and a dedicated PreCheck security line for military families. The program, which saw a limited launch in July, is now expanding to include major vacation destinations like Orlando, Orange County, California, and Honolulu.
And Nashville, too. BNA is participating in the Families on the Fly initiative. That is the latest news. We've got traffic and weather ahead. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
By the way, Joan, coming up, Elizabeth Warren gets absolutely body slammed on CNBC yesterday. Did you see this?
Oh, I did not.
Oh, yeah. It's coming up here on Super Talk 99.7. Also, an example coming up, an example of how intolerant the Democrats are. And I've got that coming up for you as well. And again, Mark Levin at 7:05. Mark Spain, real estate. Dan Mandis here for Mark Spain. Avoid the stress of listing your home on the market and sell your home fast for an all-cash offer with the guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate. Now, the Wall Street Journal and Real Trends have consistently named Mark Spain Real Estate as the top real estate team in America for closed transactions for 9 years in a row, including being ranked the #1 real estate team in the nation for 5 consecutive years. Now, this is perfect when the real estate market slows down. You can move when you want with Mark Spain Real Estate. They've been helping homeowners sell their homes for nearly 30 years. And yeah, they have served over 72,000 satisfied clients. So check them out today. Mark Spain Real Estate. That phone number is 855-299-SOLD. One of their clients, Walker, said Mark Spain Real Estate got us an offer in just 3 days for over our asking price. They made the whole thing, the whole selling process, incredibly easy. Check them out again online. It is markspain.com, 855-299-SOLD, markspain.com, and start packing.
Okay, there is a crash involving injuries in Antioch. It's on Bell Road, westbound at Cane Ridge Road, and things are stop and go from Mount View Road through that accident scene. Be careful. Also, West Trinity Lane in Avondale, there's a crash. It is east of I-65 and slowing down in all the normal spots this morning on 65 and on 24 as well. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.636 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Real quickly, I'm just, Joan, I've got CNN on in here.
Yes.
The headline, Representative Mike Flood booed at town hall after he defended Donald Trump's policies. So CNN, of course, is making hay about this. You know what this is? Mike Flood is a Republican.
Yeah.
This is, of course, what the Democrats do. They did this during the election as well, where they send in, at these town halls, they send in their sort of sleeper cells, I guess is what you would say.
Yes.
They send them in pretending to be Republicans, but they're not. They're actually Democrats, and they're just trying to, do what they do, which is cause chaos in these town halls. So that's part of what they're doing, and this is something that they've been doing as long as I've been covering politics. By the way, real quickly, before we get to...
Did you hear what he asked?
No.
Okay, so the question he had for the town hall was, how much does it cost for fascism? How much do the taxpayers have to pay for a fascist country?
Is that what they asked him?
That's what the question that he posed.
Okay.
This town hall attendee.
Interesting.
Yeah. So,
I wonder
and
what Flood said.
That's a good question.
I would actually be interested to see. Hey, Sam, see if you can find that audio where somebody goes into the Representative Flood. He's a Republican, and somebody stood up and asked, what was it? How much does it cost for fascism?
Mm-hmm. Sam, if you go to CNN's 5 Things, it's in there.
By the way, see what AOC is being accused of, Joan?
What's that?
AOC scored her boyfriend a free $250 ticket to the Met Gala by calling him her spouse. She lied. This was when she wore that gaudy, gosh-awful dress that said tax the rich.
Yeah.
While she herself gets her then boyfriend a free $250 ticket by calling him her boyfriend.
Her husband.
Her husband, yeah. So I want to know, by the way, they say then boyfriend. Did they break up?
Oh. I had wondered that.
Riley Roberts was his name.
AOC.
Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez falsely claimed spousal privileges to snag her then boyfriend Riley Roberts a free tickets to the swanky 2021 Met Gala, according to the House Ethics Committee, which orders her now to pay the $250 perk on top of the $3,000 she received in gifts. Roberts scored the freebie, the boyfriend, worth $250 because he is considered a spouse. Ocasio-Cortez's attorney claimed to the ethics panel in May, as part of the more than 3-year investigation into the Congresswoman for improperly accepting nearly $3,000 in hair accessories, shoes, and her infamous Tax the Rich dress. She and Roberts got engaged in 2022, a year after the Haute, H-A-U-T-E?
Yes, Haute,
whatever. Big words.
Yeah.
Affair, which I hear that tone, Joan. Hey, silly man with your 4th grade education. Let's see
Come
here.
on, you went to 6th grade.
$35,000 per. I'm going to throw something at you. I'm not smart enough to know that there's like 3 panes of glass between us, Joan. Anyway.
So they're still together.
Are
And by
they?
the way, they're engaged. Yeah.
Okay,
oh,
so
you said
then
that.
boyfriend meaning now fiance.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, very good. Boy, that's got to be a tough job. Being
Isn't
AOC's.
he like soy boy kind of?
Yes, he's very soy boy.
Yeah.
Do you know what he did? There was a video where, and we all laughed at this at the time, where he was, oh gosh, do I want to go down this road? Don't do it, Dan. Don't do it, Dan. Okay, I'm going to do it.
Come on, do it.
He was wearing Birkenstocks with socks. Now,
Tells you everything you need to know about him.
no, here's the thing though. Among the younger crowd, apparently wearing Birkenstocks with socks is what they do now. Sam, is that true? You're younger. Is that what you younger generation are doing, wearing socks and Birkenstocks?
It's like a satirical dad look. Like that's what they're going for.
Is that what it is? 'Cause
that's
I'm-
why they're specifically like the calf high white socks that they wear when they do it.
Yes.
Yeah. It's either the Birkenstocks or a pair of brand new New Balances that is typically worn with.
So they're actually making fun of dads.
Yeah. And they think it looks cool.
Okay, well, if they think that it looks cool, okay, I don't get it. But I see grown men doing that too now these days. I would
AI
never.
says that wearing socks with Birkenstocks is a style choice that has become more accepted and even trendy in recent years. So, Dan, if you want to be trendy,
Sure.
I suggest you go get some Birkenstocks and put on some socks.
Because clearly that's what I'm concerned about is being trendy. Boy, you can sure tell that, can't you?
Yeah.
Said the man going to the Backstreet Boys
right.
concert.
Exactly.
Anyway, so let's go through Elizabeth Warren. I love this story. And I love this story because she was absolutely, I mean, I don't know what the right word is, but I was going to use the word spanked, but I don't think that's appropriate. But she did. She got, what's the right word? I don't know, slapped around by CNBC. So here's basically what was going on is that she is trying to talk about what is going on with taxing the wealthy and all of these other things. The Democrats have a big problem with the New York mayor of choice, right? Zoran Mamdani, the Democrats, that's their choice because he is now the face of the Democrat Party. And it doesn't help. Elizabeth Warren is out there trying to say how great this guy is. This is what happened on CNBC. Listen.
You know, I wonder, though, often we see this, and this is a local election. New York does not operate in a vacuum. It competes with other cities. And so this idea of somehow raising taxes on the wealthiest New Yorkers, who, by the way, I would point out, pay roughly 15% of their income right now between city and state, raising taxes on them will simply drive them away. Shouldn't the focus of a mayor be on delivering services to the constituents of the city and doing that by raising the most revenue as possible without chasing businesses and the high-income taxpayers out of the city because they can go to Austin, they can go to Dallas, they can go to Atlanta, they can go to Nashville. This is your issue. It's a national issue, not a local issue.
I love that because what they're doing is they're nationalizing the Mamdani storyline out of New York. And it is true that the Democrats are always, I mean, what is it they always say? I mean, look at AOC's dress. Tax the rich. Well, the rich, trust me when I say, friends, they pay their fair share. The stats show that. So her response is classic Elizabeth Warren, and it is coming up. It is coming up on 6:45. Time to check the roads on WTN. High of 84 today, feels like 93, chance of storms. Okay, so you heard the way that the question was framed to Elizabeth Warren. I mean, right between the eyes. He frames it as, this is an issue with the Democrat Party. You cannot continue to raise taxes on one group of people over and over again, which is, and I'm air quoting this, the wealthy. And for the life of me, I do not understand. I don't understand why anyone would want to live in New York or California these days. Although, from what I understand, the traffic in California and the emergency rooms, both, a lot better these days. Because a lot of the illegal aliens apparently are either in hiding or they've just, quite frankly, scattered. So Chris was actually talking about this yesterday, where you had an emergency room nurse who was saying, there's nobody here. The illegal aliens have stopped using our emergency room for their primary physician care, for their primary medical needs. And suddenly the traffic on the 101 and the 405 is suddenly just a little less these days. Anyway, back to Elizabeth Warren. Whenever these types of stories come up, I always look it up, right? You know, tax the rich, pay their fair share, right? In the United States, the top 1% of earners, incomes roughly above $500,000, paid about 40% of federal income taxes in 2020, despite earning about 20% of total income. The top 10% paid nearly 70% of the federal income taxes. This suggests the tax system, they say, is progressive, the wealthier individuals contributing a disproportionate share of the tax revenue for the government. Now, I didn't look up New York specifically because, honestly, we know what Mamdani wants to do. He wants to defund the police. He wants community grocery stores, lots of DEI everywhere, and he wants to tax the rich and give to everyone else. Now, this is what Elizabeth Warren had to say in defense.
The issue is affordability. Do you know how many working families are chased out of New York City every day because they can't afford housing, they can't afford groceries, they can't afford child care? What Zoran is saying is, I want people to be able to afford to live in New York City. That's what keeps it a vibrant city. That's what makes people want to live
Nobody
here.
disagrees with that, Senator, but raising taxes in order to do it?
Oh,
why is that
goodness.
the answer?
Oh, dear. Are you worried that billionaires are going to go hungry?
No, I'm worried that they're going to leave and spend their money elsewhere.
You know, they've threatened to do that over and over and over.
And they have. They've left.
But here's the thing.
And Goldman Sachs, when they create new jobs, they do it in Dallas. And Blackstone won't build a new headquarters. And go on and on.
Do you know, this attitude, and I'm so incredibly sick and tired of it, this attitude of demonizing the wealthy, demonizing the rich. I'm so tired of it.
Oh, dear. Are you worried that billionaires are going to go hungry?
Doesn't that just grate on every last nerve? Elizabeth Warren.
Oh, dear. Are you worried that billionaires are going to go hungry?
And the CNBC anchor, he brings up a great point. At some point, New Yorkers will have had enough. And yeah, they're going to flee. To CNBC's point, Goldman Sachs has been expanding outside of New York, sending managers to places like Dallas and Salt Lake City, optimizing lower real estate prices there and lower costs of living as well outside of New York. Now, for me, to be perfectly honest, it would just be the quality of life. Living in a place like New York these days, I would have a hard time. But for Elizabeth Warren, this is the attitude of the Democrat Party.
Oh, dear. Are you worried that billionaires are going to go hungry?
It is envy. It is demonizing the rich. And it is politics that is just dirty, because what they're trying to do is, in demonizing the wealthy, they're really trying to divide America. There's absolutely nothing, and I mean nothing, that is uniting about the Democrat Party. And by the way, Mark Levin is going to have something to say about that coming up at about 7:05 on WTN.
You want to have a workable city? You want to have a city that's vibrant? You want to have a city where the streets are full, where there are things for sale 24 hours a day? Then you need people who can live here and work here.
Well, we've got that right now, by the way. I would point out New York is thriving. So now it's doing pretty well, actually.
I'm glad you think they're doing well, because a lot of people are struggling to pay for housing. A lot of people are struggling to pay for groceries. And I got to tell you, mamas and daddies who are facing $25,000 a year to pay for child care.
Those are national issues. I mean, I know they are the local state, but you can't.
New York City.
Yes, but if you deal with them in that way, by what is always your backup, just tax them more, they will leave.
No.
And listen, his point is a good one. I don't think anybody is disputing that things like child care is expensive. It is. But it's not the responsibility of the rich to pay for child care or cost of living. Yet folks on the left, they just believe that they can keep going to that same well over and over again. And by the way, if you're curious, because I was, in New York City, do you know what the cost of child care is in New York City a year? $30,000 a year. Now, that's a lot of money. Do you know how much it is in Nashville? I thought this was really interesting. Do you know how much childcare is in Nashville annually, roughly, on average? $5,900. So that is a reason why a lot of these companies will move out of a place like New York, because honestly, you can hire people for lower salaries if you're in a place where the cost of living isn't so high. And trust me when I say, I'm not saying that the cost of living is low in Tennessee, but it's not nearly what it is in New York. Cost of childcare, $30,000 in NYC. How much in Nashville? $5,900 on average. It is 6:51 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Joan Jones is in the WTN newsroom. Joan, what's coming up?
Coming up here, Dan, investigators may be closing in on that guy who will be charged with killing 4 people in West Tennessee. Also, what do you think about nuclear energy on the moon? It's an idea, and it's got some feet, and it's coming up here at 7 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Dan Mandis here, 6:52 on Nashville's Morning News on WTN. Well, it is, of course, moving season, a time filled with hours of packing, unpacking, and yes, so much bubble wrap. But the first thing you should do when moving into your new home is to make sure that the Wi-Fi is booming with Xfinity. It is super quick and easy to set up, and then, of course, boom, you'll have your new home hooked up with the ultimate Wi-Fi experience faster than the time it takes to parallel park a moving truck. Then you'll be back online with the most reliable Wi-Fi with the best in-class equipment from Xfinity. So you can just kick back and relax and stream your favorite movies and TV shows while someone else deals with all of those boxes. Because with Xfinity, the only thing you'll have to worry about is remembering where you packed the remote. Make the right and easy move with Xfinity. Learn more at xfinity.com/move. Restrictions apply, not available in all areas. Most reliable Wi-Fi claim based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024. 6:55 on Nashville's Morning News. 10 minutes to Mark Levin. Can you tell I'm excited? You know, the weather in Middle Tennessee can get crazy, which is why you need a backup home standby generator from my friends at the Generator Supercenter, the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. You can get a free quote and, yes, get peace of mind when you have one installed. Now, the Generator Supercenter does feature expert installation and 24-hour monitoring as well. They're not going to leave you in the dark. And yes, financing is available from the Generator Supercenter. 615-879-1952 is the phone number. 615-879-1952. Tell them Dan told you to reach out. Generator Supercenter of Nashville.com. .657, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. By the way, people, Joan, are yelling at me or typing in all caps.
Yeah.
Because I said the average Nashville daycare annually is $5,900. And people are saying, oh, it's a lot more than that. I pay. Listen, I don't know. That's what Grok said. And I confirmed that in another, like with a couple of Googles, whatever. All I'm saying is that it's not nearly as expensive as it is in New York. By the way, you sent me this, Joan, and I had mentioned this earlier, like weeks ago, but Mamdani, whatever. He wants to provide free gender-affirming care in New York City for anyone who wants it, and will even fly people in.
Yeah.
He has also pledged to spend $65 million on trans treating, including minors. So here's my thought. If you're out there, applying this to the Elizabeth Warren conversation, if you want to help with daycare or, housing for people that are, I guess, lower on the pay scale, well, then why don't you take that $65 million that Mamdani wants to use for, trans care and apply it to, all of those people that need help in the other ways? In other words, what Mamdani wants to do is he wants to raise taxes on the rich to pay for the trans-affirming care.
Yeah.
That is insanity.
And just a note that this is the Democratic Socialists of America sitting on a panel.
Oh, yes.
Every one of them wearing a mask that completely covers their faces. Hello, this is 2025.
Yep.
And every one of them looks like they've already been transitioned.
Maybe they're just embarrassed by what they're saying, so they had to wear the mask. Maybe that's what it is.
Whew.
So people need to listen to
What world
his.
do they live in?
People need to listen to his dad speak at Columbia. He's a tenured professor talking about he's trying to destabilize New York at the end of the day. And he's going to say whatever he wants to get elected.
Well, and he will destabilize New York. And you know what? I'm here for it. If that's what New York wants, that's what New York is going to get. 7 o'clock on WTN.
Good morning, 7 o'clock. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Just worth a mention here that in Antioch, you've got that crash on Bell Road, westbound side at Cane Ridge Road. Still there, and it's still causing quite a backup this morning. Investigators may be closing in on Austin Drummond. He's the man wanted in the killings of 4 people in Lake County last week. He was caught on a homeowner's camera in Jackson on Sunday night, dressed in camo, carrying a backpack and a rifle. Now, he attempted to enter that residence, but eventually he's seen as walking away. News 2's Peyton Kennedy tells us police also searched a campus residence at Union University in Jackson yesterday.
On Monday, Union University was placed on lockdown, and officers were seen nearby as the search continued for Drummond, and state troopers were seen checking vehicles entering the Cherry Grove apartments near the university. That apartment complex is where a third suspect was charged with being an accessory after the fact.
And the reward for information that leads to Drummond's arrest is now up to $30,000. The U.S. Office of Special Counsel confirming that it has opened an investigation into former Special Counsel Jack Smith and whether he violated the Hatch Act through his criminal investigation into President Trump. ABC's Alex Smith has more from Washington.
This is something that was actually a referral from Senator Tom Cotton, a Republican senator from Arkansas, that was sent earlier this week. And the Office of Special Counsel acted remarkably quickly to announce that it was going to carry out this investigation into whether former Special Counsel Jack Smith unlawfully used his office to go after President Trump for political purposes to impact the 2024 election.
Senator Cotton saying that Smith's actions after charging then candidate Trump were nothing more than a tool for the Biden and Harris campaigns. As the White House looks to establish a presence on the moon, one pressing question is, where would the power come from? Well, NASA appears to have found an atomic answer.
Acting NASA Administrator Sean Duffy is set to announce the agency is fast-tracking plans to build a nuclear reactor on the moon. Documents obtained by Politico reveal NASA will solicit proposals for a 100-kilowatt nuclear reactor that would launch to the lunar surface by 2030. NASA has made returning to the moon and establishing a lasting human presence there a top priority. Power is key to building bases, supporting crews, and staying long-term. And with 14 days of darkness on the moon each month, solar power won't cut it.
ABC's Andrew Dimbert. In Denmark, a zoo is asking the public to donate their pets so that they can feed them to the zoo's predators. That zoo is asking mostly for chickens, rabbits, and guinea pigs, and they say your pets will be euthanized gently by trained staff before being fed to the lions. It's not an unheard of practice. In 2014, the Copenhagen Zoo garnered lots of attention when it euthanized a healthy giraffe and fed it to the predators in the zoo. Market Numbers Report brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com. Right now, the Dow futures plus 36, NASDAQ futures up 88, and the S&P futures are gaining 16. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Thank you, Joan. 7:03, Nashville's Morning News on WTN Window Nation. Listen, this summer, clearly, your AC is working overtime to keep your house cool and comfortable. And if you're ready to change that, contact my friends at Window Nation. Replace those old or builder-grade windows with custom-built, high-quality, energy-efficient windows from my friends at Window Nation. And right now, they've got a great deal going on. Get 50% off all window styles, plus zero money down, make zero payments, and pay zero interest for 2 full years. That's right, you pay nothing until 2027. Now, Window Nation has put 4 windows in my home, and this is why I trust Window Nation. Here's why you can trust Window Nation. A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. They also have a 96% customer satisfaction rating and over 45,000 5-star reviews, including mine. Now, the sale is going to end soon, so don't miss out. Call them. 866-90-NATION. Don't forget about that great deal. Get 50% off all window styles, zero money down, zero payments, and pay zero interest for 2 full years. You pay nothing until 2027. Tell them Dan told you to reach out. 866-90-NATION, windownation.com. 7:06 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Want to get right to the Newsmaker Hotline and welcome on in Fox TV host, award-winning radio host as well, best-selling author Mark Levin. It is great to have you back on the program. How are you, sir?
I'm good. It's a great honor. You know, a lot of my family lives in Nashville.
I know that.
2 kids and grandkids.
How
Love it
often?
there.
How often do you make it to Music City?
Not that often. They usually come to non-Music City.
Got it.
In Florida and Virginia.
Well, listen, if you
But I
ever
come now and then, maybe once a year or so.
If you ever stop by Nashville, be sure and come see us here on Super Talk 99.7. We're all big fans. Now, let's talk about your book, though, On Power. This book is about power and what it means to everyday Americans, how power ultimately factors into our quality of life, among many other things. Talk about that, and then we'll talk about, I find this very interesting, talk about then the difference between positive and negative power.
Well, I can tell you read the book. Thank you. The book, what I try to stress here is that I feel like we've been thinking about this wrong. Liberty and tyranny and so forth. I've written a lot about it. But when it comes down to it, it's a battle over power. And power is a big subject. You know, psychologists have written about power. Family advisors have written about power. That's not me. I don't write about that. But power does affect really your everyday lives. And it certainly affects governance. If you live in liberty or tyranny, and I break the book down and power down into negative and positive power and soft negative and soft positive power. I go through some of the ancient philosophers, some of the Enlightenment philosophers. I go through the founders and the framers, and I come to modern times. I think it's important for people to understand this country is the only country that's founded on pure positive power. And what I mean by that is this is a Judeo-Christian nation. That's how it was founded. It doesn't mean everybody has to be Jewish or Christian or even believe in any faith, but that's the nature of the country. That's how it was founded, and that's one of the reasons it's so special. And when you read the Declaration, it's clear, but they did more than that. God is the sovereign, and therefore on earth, when it comes to government, his people are the sovereign. This is a very unique viewpoint. And then they fuse that with the Enlightenment, which is, okay, great. How do we manifest that? How do we implement that here on earth? And they looked at the Enlightenment, and they looked at people like Locke and Montesquieu, the civil society, and the key they took out of that, they took many things, but the key was power needs to check power. Power checks power to do what? To protect the individual who is sovereign and to protect the civil society, the community of individuals who are sovereign. Now, compare that to modern day, what I call American Marxists and Islamists who don't believe in any of this. They believe in the collective, the centralization of government. They reject much of what's in the Bill of Rights, and you can hear the way they talk about it. And so they exist to accumulate power, to exercise power, and from that falls their attack on free speech, their promotion of wokeness, which is an attack on free speech and freedom of thought. They change the language. They change the meaning of words. They tell you what you can think and can't think. They're into indoctrination. They're into obedience. They're into creating followers. And they do this through manipulation. So there's a chapter on language that explains this. So positive power is the power that is used to advance the cause of the individual and the civil society. That doesn't mean there's no government. I mean, you don't want mobocracy and anarchy, but it means the power is applied in a way that nurtures what it is that the nation was founded on. Negative power is a full-scale attack on our civil society, on the American experiment, and you can see today where they embrace and they use aspects of Marxism and Islamism. So the book breaks down into that. I think people are going to be fascinated with this book, and the reason I wrote it is because I feel we don't have the tools, we don't make the case, we don't make the argument that we need to make, that people need to understand that if we just talk about liberty and so forth in a very superficial and surface level, well, they're talking about affordability and all the rest. They want to grab authority, and we want to keep our authority.
Mark Levin joining us, the great one. I like what you say here. Just the beginning of chapter 3 on positive power. Positive power is about the well-being of the people, not the rulers, and God is the sovereign. So when you talk about positive power, I thought it was really fascinating. Let me ask you this question. You watch society as I do, and everyone does. Do you believe there are more examples of positive power in America today or negative power?
I think the trajectory is in the wrong direction. I think Europe is 10 or 20 years ahead of us, where the trajectory is very dire and dark. You can see they basically have a Marxist mentality. You know, von Mises, one of the great Austrian economists, and he's in the book. He said, we Americans, we all talk and sound like Marxists now, you know, about equality of results and why are there billionaires? And he goes on, and he says the average person even talks this way. In Europe, they really believe it. But here's the thing. Most Americans don't want to believe it. That is, most Americans reject Marxism, reject this radical Islamism and so forth. They love their country. And so the point of positive power is power can be used in positive ways and in negative ways, but power is going to be used one way or another. That's the nature of government. That's the nature of society. That's the nature of the classroom. That's the nature of sports. It's the nature of everything. But when we're talking about really being ruled or ruling, my attitude is this, and I write about it in the book. It's the power of or the power over. It's the power of the people or the power over the people. And when you listen to the Bernie Sanders and Schumers and those people, they want to control us. When you listen to others who don't have that point of view, who are trying to reduce the size of the central government, the central employee, the massive employee base, who are trying to push things back to the states and the individual, we can call that federalism, and we can talk about it. Most people's eyes are going to glaze over, but I think we need to talk about this in the sense of what it does to the individual and what it does to the community. And again, the left gets this. The Marxists get it. The Islamists get it. They want power. They will change the voting system for power. They will open the borders to change the citizenry for power. They will accumulate all this authority over the weather, quote unquote, over climate, quote unquote, and so forth and so on for power. And we sit here and debate as if we're in a think tank or something about, and I'm saying, no, we've got to fight power with power.
One of the things that
Hope that makes sense.
It does make sense. It does make sense. And I'm desperately trying not to interrupt you because I know that our time is limited. When you talk about deception, distraction, fear-mongering, all of these things, the Democrats calling Donald Trump Hitler, calling his supporters Nazis, or that Donald Trump is going to rip up the Constitution, among all these other things. The Democrats, those are all examples of negative power. And it does, and you write in the book about how that negative power stifles independent thought. Talk about that.
What they do is they bastardize the language. They'll go on and they'll say, for instance, Donald Trump wants to get rid of Medicare, Social Security, Medicaid, when he's never said that. But they'll keep saying it. They'll go on about how he wants tax cuts for the billionaires, which is not what he's done and not what he wants. So they're involved in deception and propaganda and fear-mongering. And this has a huge negative impact on the body politic. We, the people, we're supposed to make decisions and in a representative government, let our representatives know how we think. The reason we have free speech is to communicate with each other. And you can do it in a healthy way or you can do it in a totalitarian way. And what the Democrat Party and the hard left, the Marxists and so forth, what they do is they lie. And they're demagogues. So they have to create these scenarios and they have to push them into the public square. And they use their media, which is loaded with Democrats and leftists, to do the same thing. So a lot of people aren't paying attention to you or me, or they're just, they're working and they're not really focused in. They're going to say, well, I don't want somebody destroying my Social Security and so forth. So decisions are being made based on a very corrupt use of speech. And so I talk about how that is what I call the negative speech for negative power to advance the cause. And this is borrowed from the worst types of fascist, Marxist, autocratic regimes, which is not about knowledge. Communication doesn't have for them the purpose of knowledge or science or anything like that. It has the purpose of manipulation, to create obedience, to get votes, to get power. Whereas positive power is, let's engage on the policies. Let's discuss the substance. Let's see what works and what doesn't work. Let us have a competition of ideas and so forth. That's the purpose of free speech. But that's not what the negative power crowd uses speech for. They use speech for manipulation and to create true believers. You see this in New York right now with this Mondami, affordability. Affordability. What he wants to do is basically take over every aspect of society. That's not affordability, and you attack that by explaining to people what they're going to lose, not what they're going to gain. You know, you have to compare something with something. And these Marxists and the left, they're very good at talking about pie in the sky. And we got to bring it back down to earth, not only with examples of history or current examples, but explain you've got to compare something with something. Like, who's going to run these government-run grocery stores? What experience do they have? How are they going to improve it? You say you want to get rid of the housing market. Who's going to be in charge of that? I want to be in charge of my own house. You want to get rid of billionaires. Why do I care if there's billionaires? Why do I care if there's 1 million billionaires? What does it have to do with me? That doesn't affect my life or my job. And then I explain that they attack capitalism. Well, we have to explain you have the power to go into a supermarket and buy damn near anything you want to buy with choices no human being has ever seen before, and you live better than kings or queens ever could. It doesn't matter if you're a blue-collar worker. It doesn't matter if you're middle class, lower middle class. You have access to things, material goods, cars, planes, air conditioning. Hit a switch, the light comes on. Turn the faucet on, hot. Turn the faucet on, cold. That 100 years ago did not even exist. Why? Because of the greatness of this country. We invented these things. We do these things. We have sewage systems. We have bathrooms in our homes. Nobody even imagined these things. And that's because of the Industrial Revolution. That's because power is with the people. Power is with an open mind, an ability to communicate, whereas everything's in Washington. Everything's controlled by bureaucrats. Everything's controlled by politicians who don't know how to do anything. So this power construct is what I'm saying needs to be discussed. And I wrote this book. Look, there's deep issues in this book, but I wrote this book so everybody can understand it, so everybody can use it, so people can give it to their kids, their grandkids. So when they go into high school and they go into college, they are armed and they are ready.
That's why they call you the Great One, Mark Levin. And this is your 11th book, and it is a fantastic book on power. Thank you so much for joining us here on Nashville's Morning News.
Dan, I want to thank you. The book is everywhere, Amazon, any retail store now, and I appreciate you guys very, very much, and God bless you.
All right, you too, and have a great week. Mark Levin, the Great One, here on Super Talk 99.7 WTN 7 to 10, and we are running a little bit late, of course, because you don't interrupt the Great One for traffic. We'll go ahead and do it now on WTN.
Yeah, so we have a couple of accidents. One is in Lebanon on Highway 109 southbound north of Hickory Ridge Road. 2 lanes are taken out by that one. Careful in that area. And then at the downtown split, 40 eastbound just past the I-24 downtown exit. Also 2 right lanes taken out by a crash in that area as well. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
All right, thank you, Joan. It is coming up on 7:20 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Yes, the people are making fun of me on the super text line because I told Mark Levin I'm desperately trying not to interrupt you, but I had to pause because I didn't know when he was going to stop talking, Joan, and so I didn't know if he was pausing for effect or if he just if he was done speaking. So I get nervous whenever I talk to Mark Levin. Mark Levin and Bill O'Reilly, the 2 of them. I don't know why that is.
Yeah, why? They're just guys. They put on their pants the same way you do.
You know what? The first time, and people that have listened to me for a long time know, the first time I ever interviewed Bill O'Reilly, I made the mistake of calling him a conservative a couple of times. And he corrected me and basically said, no, no, Dan. He didn't say, well, Dan. I think he said, no, Dan. I'm not. He said it in a friendly way, though. I'm not a conservative. I'm a whatever it was that he said. And it was all fine, well, and good. And Bill O'Reilly is fantastic. He's a fantastic interview. But, both Mark Levin and Bill O'Reilly, I'm honored that they come on this program. And this is, by the way, a very good book on power. So I'm almost done with it. Anyway, it is 7:20 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm seeing, and I'm not as up to speed on the whole Benjamin Netanyahu talking about how Israel needs to basically completely take over Gaza, which is in the news this morning. Mm-hmm. But I will say this about that. is that Hamas isn't doing themselves any favor by releasing these, photographs of, emaciated kids, and they don't have any food, saying that they don't have any food, talking about how, they're going to kill hostages and all of these other things. New York Times, by the way, also utilizing fake photographs to portray what is happening in Gaza. New York Times not doing themselves any favor either. But I think that is a big part of the news cycle this morning. Benjamin Netanyahu is basically saying we need to take over Gaza and I guess rip it from the hands of Hamas. So we'll talk about that and a whole lot more straight ahead. It is 7:22 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Dan Mandis here for King and Associates. Listen, if your roof was destroyed in a storm, how much of that replacement cost would your insurance company cover? Now, if you don't know, you really do need to ask, because some insurance companies, they refuse to pay full replacement cost. They are going to deduct money for an older roof, and that means that the insurance company will depreciate how much they pay for your roof claim. If you've got an older roof, they're going to pay you less. That could leave you on the hook for thousands of dollars. Now, my friends at King & Associates Insurance, they will pay full replacement cost. So whether you have to replace a 10-year-old roof or a 2-year-old roof, they will pay for it to be replaced, period. It is that kind of focus on customer service that makes King & Associates one of the best insurance companies around. Call them, tell them Dan told you to reach out. That phone number is 615-329-8121, 615-329-8121. Get that royal review, tkinginsurance.com. All right, so people are curious, Joan, what I meant by the New York Times posting that fake photo. Do you know about this story?
About them
Joan?
posting a fake photo?
Yeah.
I didn't hear this.
So the New York Times, this was a few days ago, they put out this photo of this kid in Gaza who is just, I mean, he looks horrific.
Yeah.
He looks horrific. And they were trying to use this as an example of starving children in Gaza. The only problem is that the kid actually has a muscular issue. And so they were being dishonest. The reason why he's so skinny is because of this muscular issue. And as some noted in the photograph, this kid's brother
is, yes, okay, I have seen this. Yep.
And the New York Times just totally...
Right, his brother is in the background, and he's
looks fine.
Obviously a healthy kid. So what, were they, would that mean that the parents were feeding one kid, not the other? Like,
right.
Obviously.
And so the New York Times were trying to make it look like Israel was starving the children of Gaza. And you remember that whole thing from a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
So I think for the New York Times, they kind of sort of rolled it back when they came under... really intense pressure once they were found out. But this is the fake news that the New York Times throws out there.
And how do they expect all of us to just buy the next story that they post as being truthful, honest, good reporting when they do that?
And now you've got Benjamin Netanyahu considering a complete takeover of Gaza. Hamas put out a video of an Israeli hostage digging his own grave.
That broke my heart.
And the guy looks severely malnourished there.
Does.
So, you know what? I mean, I don't know how that whole thing is going to play out. But if Israel can manage to get everybody food, because I still contend that Hamas is stealing the food. You're not going to be able to convince me otherwise. And so if Israel can get in there and make sure that everyone has food, then, I mean, maybe the people of Gaza, I doubt it, but maybe the people of Gaza would accept Israel. I don't know. And I don't know what any of that looks like. However, that is part of the news cycle. This morning, it is 7:30 on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Los Angeles and President Trump haven't always gotten along well, but today the president is doing something that L.A. welcomes with open arms.
With the signing of an executive order, President Trump will today create a White House Olympics task force. It'll be focused on security for the games and other planning like transportation. It comes at a time when the city of L.A. and the Trump administration have been at odds over several issues, including the recent immigration raids here. The head of LA 28 says a task force is an important step in planning for the biggest and greatest games, quote, the world has ever seen. Alex Stone, ABC News, Los Angeles.
LA 28 Chairman Casey Wasserman is expected to join President Trump at the White House this afternoon for that signing. Metro Nashville school students are returning to classes today. 1st through 12th grade will have a full day of classes. Kindergarten and preschool kids, they've got a half day. Also back to school today, DeKalb, Lincoln, Macon, Moore, Perry, Robertson, and Warren counties. Of course, got to watch out for the big yellow buses and all those kids on the sidewalks. In Texas, Democrat lawmakers who ran away rather than vote on a redistricting plan are subject to arrest now.
I will immediately sign the warrants for the civil arrest of the members who have said they will not be here.
That's Governor Greg Abbott calling on Texas Department of Public Safety to arrest what he calls the delinquent Texas House Democrats. Well, they're all sheltering in Illinois and New York, and Abbott says he'll consider it bribery if any lawmaker took money to perform or to refuse to perform an act in the legislature. The saga obviously is far from over. That is the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Thank you, Joan. It's 7:32. Dan Mandis here. Listen, guys over 40, if you're running low on energy, maybe you're just feeling a little off, lowtcenter.com is where you need to go. Get started with testosterone replacement therapy, or TRT, and join lots of guys who are going through the same thing as you. Now, you know that they've got clinics all over Nashville, and yes, they're really easy to get to. You walk in, you see a real medical provider, you get that energy back. No complicated process, just results. And remember, these treatment plans, they are tailor-made just for you. So you can get treatments at the clinic or you can be treated at home. But either way, you're always going to get the highest quality of care. And by the way, right now, in the month of August, you can get a free consultation. And if you qualify, treatment is covered by most major medical insurance. So reclaim that energy and become you again. By the way, they can also help you with prescription weight loss options as well. So head on over to lowtcenter.com and book your appointment today. That's lowtcenter.com. Simple, quick, and totally worth it. .34 Nashville's Morning News on WTN, the Wellness Institute of Nashville. This is a place that I went early on in my time here in Nashville to solve my chronic back and neck pain. Love these folks. They helped me, and they can help you as well. Listen, if you have back or neck pain, sciatica, slipped or bulging spinal discs, herniated disc, spinal stenosis, numbness or weakness in the arms and legs, they can help you with their non-surgical spinal decompression. No surgery, no spinal injections, no painkillers, just therapy that is going to help you. Now, right now at the Wellness Institute of Nashville, they do have a great special going on just for you. $12 for a comprehensive exam, x-rays if needed, well-explained diagnosis, and your first treatment, again, from the Wellness Institute of Nashville. They call it the Big Daddy Trump Special, $12 for a comprehensive exam, x-rays, well-explained diagnosis, and yes, that first treatment as well. Check him out, Dr. Mitch, 615-246-5009. Tell him Dan Mandis told you to reach out. Start a pain-free life. Yes, it is possible. Call them today, 615-246-5009. Find them online anytime, painisbad.com. That is painisbad.com.
Okay, so it's an accident in Lebanon on Highway 109 southbound, just near Hickory Ridge Road, and 2 lanes are blocked off there. Traffic is reportedly getting by on the right shoulder. That'll slow things down. Also, south side, right at the eastbound 40, just before Fessler's Lane, exit 212. That crash takes out the right shoulder. And then on Antioch on 24 eastbound side, just past Hickory Hollow Parkway, exit 60. That crash is in the right shoulder. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.36 Nashville's Morning News on WTN. Some incredible video at the Daily Mail. Have you seen this, Joan?
No.
The headline, I gotta put this on my X. Heroic beachgoers tackle African migrants and pin them to the ground as they try to rush ashore in a terrifying video. Really important, or I should say interesting, as to what is going on. Let's see here. They say this is the dramatic moment. Around a dozen boat migrants were tackled and detained by tourists after landing on a packed Spanish beach. Because, you know, the I'm going to put this in air quotes, the migration issues that we have had certainly over the last 4 years under Biden. You know, there are versions of that going all over happening all across the world. And so this video, you see these people that, you know, they're sick of it in other nations as well. And they actually tackle these people as they are coming off of the boats. And they hold them down as they call the authorities. Now, it's great. Can you imagine if, that happened under Joe Biden? They would just say, oh, no, let him go, give him all kinds of money, too. That's what the Biden administration would do. I'm going to post this And follow me on X at Dan Mandis Show, and I'm hitting post. So, yeah, really, really interesting story. And if you want to find me on X, you can at Dan Mandis Show. Also, by the way, if you want to watch us on YouTube, you can. Basically, that's how I recommend that you watch on YouTube. But you can find us anywhere. Facebook, X, 997WTN.com. We're on Rumble as well. I don't know if anybody has gravitated over towards Rumble, but I always recommend YouTube so that people can take the Daily Dan poll. Now, the poll today, and I like this particular poll, the poll is, do you believe that any charges will be recommended in the grand jury investigation into Russiagate? I'm going to get into all things Russiagate coming up, but what are people saying thus far?
Our YouTube chat is divided 44% yes, there will be charges, 56% no.
Okay, very good. I'm among the cynics in this whole thing. I think that maybe there will be some charges against the likes of, Clapper, John Brennan, some of those folks. I don't believe that anything's going to happen with Obama, but we'll have to wait and see. But Pam Bondi, as you know, has now instructed the DOJ to launch that grand jury investigation into the intelligence regarding President Trump and Russia heading into 2020. Now, remember what a grand jury investigation is. The DOJ will present evidence to a group of citizens to decide if there is enough evidence to move forward with actual charges of a crime. Now, that in and of itself is going to have a lot of challenges, and we'll get into that coming up. The grand jury more than likely would be in Washington, D.C., but Pam Bondi wants a federal prosecutor to present evidence into the likes of former director of national intelligence, of course, need some audio, James Clapper.
There was spying against the campaign. We're losing sight here of what started all this, and that was the Russian meddling, the Russian interference in our election process.
Yeah, now remember the accusations, right? And I know that there's a lot to it. I'm trying to really just get into the crux of the situation, the core of the situation, that Hillary Clinton paid for the dossier, fabricated the lies in it, passed it along to the FBI under Obama, then leaked it all to the media. All of this with the help of George Soros, and that led to the Mueller investigation. And by the way, I can guarantee you that they're definitely going to want to speak to Hillary Clinton.
Technical efforts?
I mean, if you're going to let Russia get away with what they did and are still doing, according to Christopher Wray, the current FBI director who said that last week, they're in our election systems. We're worried about 2020, he said.
Right. You know, when you hear, and I've said this probably a number of different times now, but when you hear Clapper and John Brennan and James Comey and all of these folks, these audio bites are post-2016. So they knew that they were the ones that planted the Russia collusion story, courtesy of the dirty dossier, among other things. And so they are lying to the American people. That's what they're doing. They are lying to the American people. And James Comey certainly knows that he is a big-time part of this whole thing. And so you had James Clapper, John Brennan, the head of the CIA. All of them said that the dossier, full of lies, but they kept saying that it was credible. They said that it was legit and should be used to launch investigations into Donald Trump. This was former FBI Director James Comey. Of course, he was in on it.
There should be no fuzz on this whatsoever. The Russians interfered in our election during the 2016 cycle.
Yeah, and here's the deal. He knew that the dossier was unverified. He knew that it was full of lies. James Comey. But he used it as evidence in the FBI's investigations. Comey, of course, briefed Trump and Obama of all of this. And, of course, it does appear now that Obama was in on the whole thing as well. Fox News legal analyst Jonathan Turley, he was on Fox News, and, you know, he has always been spot on with all of this.
This is the first necessary step to finding out about the real Russian conspiracy. There never was a Russian collusion conspiracy. That was hatched by the Clinton campaign. They secretly funded the Steele dossier. They denied that to the media. And they laid out this very successful political hit job using the media, using the government. It's amazing how much the public still doesn't know. But in the last few weeks, this administration has given us information that we haven't seen before. I've been following this, writing about it for years. Some of this is new stuff, and it's startling.
Yeah, it is startling. Although, you know what? A lot of this stuff are things that we already knew, right? We just now have the receipts. And it does feel good. I'm going to be honest with you. It does feel good to be vindicated with all of this. I mean, back in, 2016, 2017, I was right here on WTN. I was talking about all of these things. And people, the people in the media, oh, you're crazy. Donald Trump colluded with the Russians. And like, no, man, this is all made up. So it does feel good to be vindicated. But Turley, he spoke about how this is going to be a long road to accountability, and it will be. It's already been, 9 years, whatever it's been. If, and it's a big if it gets out of the grand jury phase, because remember, if it does go to the grand jury will be based out of Washington, D.C. And so very blue, Washington, D.C., that's number one. And number two, of course, Donald Trump has fired half the city. They hate Donald Trump in Washington, D.C., except for maybe the lawyers that are now being hired.
I think today about half the lawyers in the city went on retainer. About 40 minutes ago, you just lost about 50% of the bar in terms of client base. The reason is that there are a lot of people, a lot of powerful people in this town that have already been mentioned in some of these releases. The most at risk, the most exposed include people like John Brennan, who I've been writing a lot about. It's very hard to square his testimony before Congress with what was just released. And he and Clapper, who is also at risk here, just published an op-ed in the New York Times. If they didn't have counsel before, they should get it now, because I was astonished by that column. I was astonished the New York Times published it because it seems to me strikingly untrue.
That is Jonathan Turley, and he had a lot more to say, and we'll continue, obviously, to cover this story and a whole lot more straight ahead on Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Time to check the roads. Thank you very much. As far as your weather today, high of 84 feels like a temperature of 93 for your high and a chance of showers and thunderstorms as well. Donald Trump was on CNBC a few minutes ago, and I'm going to play some audio. I have not even heard this audio. It was that recent, just a few minutes ago. But this is President Trump on CNBC. It is Squawk Box. And the description is that Donald Trump unloaded on Fed Chair Jerome Powell, finally explaining how Powell got the job in the first place. This is President Trump.
A lot of times they're very good. Like this character that we have in there now, Jerome Too Late Powell, he was very good. He said, "Sir, I'll keep interest rates so low. I'm a low interest rate person, sir." You could hardly hear him talking over the desk.
Is Warsh
somebody that worked for me was a big fan of his, not a fan of his, he hardly knew him, but he wanted him so badly. I did somebody a favor, I put him in there. No, he's too late. He's too late. That name will stick to him.
Can you handicap it at all? Who you're, or you won't know? When will you know? And when will you announce it?
I think the two Kevins are doing well, and I have two other people that are doing well. Look, it's in the end there are numerous people that are qualified. Everyone on your phone right now, in terms of at your beautiful studio, would be very qualified, in my opinion. You guys are better than most of the people that do it for a living that I've watched. I watched a lot, actually. No, I think that it'll be one of four people.
How many of those, Joan? How many of those CNBC staffers are probably like, "Well, I'll do it."
Yeah. I was watching while he was doing this interview, and they were trying desperately to fact check him, to interrupt him while he was doing the weave. and he just wasn't going to have it.
Really?
Oh yeah, it was pretty interesting.
The clip I sent you was about him roasting Jasmine Crockett and calling her low IQ.
Oh, where did you send it? That we got to hear real quick. Where is that? Did you send it to my Dan Show Gmail?
Well, I sent it. I think I sent it to you direct DM. I'll email it to you.
Let's see.
Why don't
Direct
you just
DM.
play it?
Yeah. Can you just play it? Well, because he's got it on his phone.
Yeah.
No, don't do it on the phone. Don't do it. That sounds like crap. Well, if you DM'd it, I don't have it on my Twitter.
I sent it to your Gmail.
Okay. So let me see real quick. Because anytime the president talks about Jasmine Crockett, that is a good thing. Of course, I don't have it in my Gmail as there it is. All right, here we go real quick. I'm going to play it because President Trump. Oh, and by the way, I'm usually a little more put together than this, but this audio just coming down. This is President Trump roasting Jasmine Crockett.
The Democrat Party is self-destructing. I mean, when you have low IQ people like Crockett, I wonder if she's in a relationship to the late, great Davy Crockett, who was a great gentleman. I wonder if she's got any relationship to Davy Crockett, the great old Davy Crockett. But you have this woman Crockett. She's a very low IQ person. Somebody said the other day she's one of the leaders of the party. I said, you got to be kidding. The Democrats are lost. They have Trump derangement syndrome so bad that they can't walk, they can't talk,
I mean.
they don't know where they're going. Schumer is finished. Schumer, look, I watched him the other day. He's lost all of his confidence.
So there you go. And yeah, you're right, Joe. And I can see where the dude's trying to kind of interrupt Trump as the president is trying to do his, his little weave.
Yeah.
Which he does.
He kept on laughing in the background, and it was pretty disrespectful, quite frankly.
They were being disrespectful of Trump.
Yeah. You could hear them. He would say something, and you could hear them snickering in the background. Yeah.
So snickering, as in laughing at what he's saying.
Not
they were snickering
with him.
at him. Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, come on, CNBC.
Yeah. No respect. I have no respect for them. Like,
you don't like the
wasn't
CNBC
right.
guys? I don't have enough money to watch CNBC. Totally kidding. Let's see here. I don't have enough time to play any more audio. What was the point of having him? By the way, I think, do you know what I think Jerome Powell's name needs to be? Jerome Dead Man Walking Powell.
I don't think you're going to beat Jerome. Too late. It's too late for him.
Yeah, I know. Too Late Powell actually has a better ring to it. I like Dead Man Walking. I think that sounds good too. Anyway,
Mr. Over Budget.
People, by the way, are saying that Scott Bessent might be put in charge of the Federal Reserve. Trump apparently said, no, he's not. He's fine right where he is, head of the Treasury, which, by the way, I like Scott Bessent in the role of Treasury Secretary. I think that he's doing an outstanding job on so many different fronts. I mean, he really is a very good mouthpiece for the president when it comes to tariffs, when it comes to the economy, selling Trumponomics and selling the positive things that are happening because of Donald Trump and his policies. All right, 7:52, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Coming up, I'm finally going to get to this piece of audio where the Democrats really show off how intolerant they are. That story for you and a whole lot more straight ahead on Nashville's Morning News. Joan Jones has the news coming up at 8. Joan, what you got?
Well, the latest on that Texas redistricting fight, and a guy who was on a prison work detail, he walked away and was recaptured. You know, this guy was only days away from being allowed to be freed anyway.
You know, I think that he realized how expensive it is to live on the outside.
Yeah, maybe.
And he was just like, you know what? I want to stay here.
Take me back.
Take me back.
Got that story coming up here, too, at 8 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Dan Mandis here for my buddy, my friends over there at Vision Correction. They do a great job. Vision for Life, celebrating 20 years of 2020. Since 2005, Dr. Jeff Horn has provided thousands of patients 20/20 or better vision. I'm one of them. Dr. Horn's expertise and dedication have made him a leader in cataract, LASIK, and other vision correction surgeries. Dr. Horn's commitment to providing the best possible patient experience, in addition to the most advanced technologies in vision correction, has made Vision for Life one of the premier vision correction centers in the world. And they're right here in Nashville. It's great. Since founding Vision for Life, Dr. Horn has been recognized for numerous accomplishments, including being one of America's top 250 premier cataract surgeons, being voted Best LASIK Surgery Center, and recently being voted Nashville's Best Ophthalmologist. Now, those accolades show that his commitment to providing the best in vision care is the same today as when he founded Vision for Life 20 years ago. Find them online. Tell them Dan told you to reach out. If you are thinking about vision correction surgery, call these guys. This is the company that I went through, and I recommend them highly. It's 615-436-2020, 615-436-2020, visionforlife.com. Dan Mandis here for Zintex. You know, your bathroom is one of the biggest selling points when it comes to getting your home sold. And Zintex, they can help you with a huge upgrade and a special price and offer just for my listeners. Now, you can upgrade your bathtub into a walk-in shower with grab bars and a bench seat from Zintex. Now, this can really help the older folks in your life, and a bathtub redesign can make your bathroom look spectacular. Now, with Zintex, your work is going to be done in a day or less, and that great offer for my listeners, you mentioned WTN, and you get a free Kohler toilet from Zintex. And get $999 off your bathroom project or enjoy no interest for 2 full years. whichever works best for you. Find Zintex online. They've got great examples of their work. Zintex, Zintex.com. $7:58, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. All right, so do you remember yesterday, Joan, we were talking about Donald Trump and being extraordinarily influential. Remember, I need some audio. This was on CNN, and Harry Enton, one of my favorite guys.
Immigration with net migration, and we're talking about tariffs and the effective tariff rate. Donald Trump is remaking the United States. Love it, like it, or lump it. He has been tremendously influential to a historic degree, Omar.
Now, influential can mean anything. I mean, it can be good or bad. And you heard Harry Enton say, whatever he said, hook or crook, whatever that means. But basically, it was good or bad. Whether you love it or hate it, Donald Trump is influential. People are calling for Harry Enton to be fired from CNN. Fans were outraged after Enton's segment finished, with one taking to X to ask, so you're praising the fact that we are now being taxed more than we have been in nearly a century, false, and we have a dictator circumventing Congress. You are a disgrace. Another wrote, CNN needs to fire you. And a third weighs in, what a stupid comment. Hitler was influential too. Would you use that word to describe him? What a joke CNN has become. Glad I don't watch anymore. Not missing anything. Well, if that person doesn't watch anymore, how did they see it? Whatever. All right, 8 o'clock on WTN.
Good morning. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories, the latest in the Texas redistricting fight. Texas House Republicans have voted to authorize the sergeant at arms there to civilly arrest Democrats who fled the state in protest of the GOP redistricting efforts. ABC's Jessica Willey.
In this dramatic fight over redistricting, DPS has been ordered to locate, arrest, and bring back any fleeing lawmakers to the House chamber. Governor Greg Abbott also wants them investigated for possible criminal violations, possibly bribery, he says, suggesting that they are being paid to break quorum.
Meantime, New York Governor Kathy Hochul embraces the gerrymandering of congressional districts in New York to favor Democrats.
This is a war. We are at war. And that's why the gloves are off. And I say, bring it on.
Those comments coming yesterday as she sat alongside 6 Democrat lawmakers from Texas who had fled to her state. In Jackson, Tennessee, a homeowner has shared home surveillance video with investigators who are searching for accused killer Austin Drummond. Here's WSMB4's Danielle Ledbetter.
He was spotted outside of someone's home Sunday night. This was in Jackson, Tennessee. Now you can see him again walking up to this door and trying to get in that door. It was locked. Now another video shows him in all camouflage and armed. He is considered to be extremely dangerous and still at large this morning.
Also in this case, Union University was placed on lockdown as officers searched for Drummond yesterday. At a nearby apartment building, a 23-year-old woman was arrested and charged with being an accessory after the fact. An inmate who walked away from a work detail in Rutherford County has been found and taken into custody. Here's News 2 on that story.
The sheriff's office says Joseph Beard was picked up. He's picking up trash along John Bragg Highway in Reedyville when he walked off. Deputies spent the afternoon searching the area with K-9 officers and drones, and then the THP sent in its helicopter. Officers found him just before dark.
Now, Beard was serving time for a probation violation and was set to be released on August 24th. Now, however, he's facing new charges. And in Gallatin, a man was taken into custody after being caught selling prescription pain medication on the street. Police say 64-year-old Timothy Puckett had been stealing his dying wife's medication. She was reportedly nonverbal and living on a hospital bed in the living room of their home. Police had her removed to a hospital setting and arrested Puckett, not just for selling the drugs, but also for neglect of an elderly adult and for maintaining a drug house. Market Numbers Report brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com. And we are just ahead of the opening bell here, about a half hour, and it looks like stocks are mixed. Stock futures are mixed. We've got Dow futures minus 12, NASDAQ futures plus 70, S&P futures are up 8 points. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Thank you, Joan. 8:03, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. Specialty Coatings. Listen, if you are a business owner and your concrete floors need a little love, my friends at Specialty Coatings, they can help you. Now, they specialize in concrete floor coatings and polished concrete, and they've been doing it for 30 years. Now, I'm telling you, if you've got a business and your floor doesn't look so great, Specialty Coatings can help you. Now, they've done a lot of work all across the state of Tennessee. Incredible concrete floor coatings, all the major sports stadiums, arenas, and convention centers as well. Just in the last year, they've installed over 1 million square feet of coatings for businesses across Tennessee. Now, those buildings include manufacturing, warehouses, airplane hangars, retail, and a lot more. Specialty Coatings, they're not some fly-by-night company. A couple of guys show up with a bucket and a roller. They've got the equipment and the skilled installers. So your job is going to be done on time and on budget. No matter how bad your floor looks, Specialty Coatings can fix it. And each project is customized to your building and your needs. Call them, tell them Dan told you to reach out, 615-591-9491. You can also email them, sales@specialtycoat.com. Find all kinds of great examples of their handiwork, specialtycoat.com.
Okay, watch it in Lebanon, Highway 109 southbound. They're still working an accident scene that's blocking 2 right lanes at Hickory Ridge Road. You want to get by that? You'll be traveling on the shoulder this morning. Antioch, I-24 westbound at Hickory Hollow Parkway. A stalled out vehicle. It takes out the left lane. You've also got a crash reported in Almaville on 840 westbound, just past exit 47. And in Antioch on the 24 eastbound side past Hickory Hollow Parkway, a crash that's sitting on the right shoulder. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
8:08, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to you, friends. How are you? How are you? And we have a lot going on. Lee Reeves joins us now in studio. Lee, I think we're going to have to put you on the payroll here at WTN. You spent a lot of great time with Murphy's Show yesterday, but I did want to have you on here as well to talk about, and by the way, for folks that don't know, Lee is running to replace Mark Green, the now retired from Congress Mark Green. And you have now released, and I don't know why I was surprised by this, but I was, that you have released now what your first act in Congress would be if you win the election, and that would be to end birthright citizenship.
That's right.
So frying pan into the fire, man. That's a controversial one. Talk about it.
Straight to it. And it really shouldn't be that controversial. What we're really saying is that we support President Trump and his executive order that he issued back in January to end birthright citizenship. Now, of course, that's in litigation. That's not unexpected. We expected that. But I know that there are people in Congress right now that support doing that. It's important to codify it, right? We know how executive orders go, and they go away with the next president. So we need to actually put that into law. Now, this is based off of a misinterpretation, in my view, and in the view of many others, of the 14th Amendment, which was passed after the Civil War. And what we want to do is make sure that that kids born in the United States are only citizens if they have a U.S. citizen as a parent or a lawful legal resident. And right now, 250,000 kids are born here every year as U.S. citizens, even though neither parent is here legally.
Well, and I've been talking about birthright tourism, the tourism, which is just so incredibly frustrating, where, you'll have somebody, this is something that China does, where you've got a Chinese woman comes here and she's 7 months pregnant. She stays to have the baby. And then, boom, you have an American citizen for a baby. And I think part of what President Trump and people like me and people like you, we've been frustrated because of the fact that America is being taken advantage of.
That's right. That's right. And it's a magnet, right? I mean, just as you said, tourism and other, this doesn't exist anywhere else.
No.
It doesn't exist anywhere else. We are being taken advantage of. I agree completely with President Trump on that, and it's something that we've got to fix, and it'll be the first bill that I introduce when I get up there. It's just not right. It's something that's got to get fixed. And look, overall, illegal immigration is something that the Democrats have not just tolerated, they have encouraged it. And we are seeing the problems with that right now. In 2023, and this is the last number I can find, illegal immigrants actually affected the state of Tennessee to the tune of $971 million. That's in education costs, that's in emergency health care, and it's in our law enforcement costs. And it's something that we've got to fix.
One of the things that, and I know you're traveling around the district and talking to folks, and I'm going to ask how that's going in a second, but I think that part of what we've seen, Donald Trump, at least right now, has been able to solve the border crisis itself. And we're down to, 0% of people coming across the border.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Well, it's yes, but it's amazing that all Joe Biden had to do was do what Donald Trump did. And so clearly the Democrats wanted all of these illegal aliens to come into the country, so on and so forth. Everybody knows that. But I think the next step, obviously, is taking care of the other part of this, which is, taking care of the birthright citizenship constitutional situation, also taking care of mass deportation. Are you satisfied so far with how many people have been deported and the people that are being deported?
Yeah, there's 150,000 was released the other day. 150,000 have been deported since the beginning of the year. Look, I am the leading proponent in the state of Tennessee in terms of elected officials pushing for ICE cooperation agreements. It's incredibly important. It's called 287G programs. And I've been pushing for this since the beginning of the year. And this is something that all of the sheriffs across the state of Tennessee should be entering into with ICE to serve warrants within a controlled prison setting instead of releasing folks back into our neighborhoods to serve these warrants where it's dangerous and could be dangerous to law-abiding citizens. It's got to get done. 21 counties, I think, by the as of yesterday, have entered into these agreements. It's incredibly, incredibly important. And, you know, I met with some ICE officials several months ago and was just amazed at how much had been accomplished in the short amount of time President Trump has been in office. And I said, you know, have you guys added staff? And they said, no, we were just allowed to use the folks that we had. And I think that says a lot about where President Biden was or whoever was controlling the White House and where President Trump is.
One of the things that I find fascinating is the inner workings of Congress, you know, Democrats, Republicans, and how all of that takes place. If you are elected and you end up going to the House of Representatives, how do you find yourself fitting into the current regime of, not regime, but, you know, Mike Johnson and those folks? How do you sense yourself being able to fit in? It seems like, you know, there's a lot of folks that just, you know, go along to get along. There's others that, you know, really may be more rebellious. When you look at what this current Congress is doing, the Republicans in the House, how do you think you'd fit in? And do you think they're doing a good job? I mean, you mentioned codifying earlier. I don't think they've done nearly enough to codify, but what do you think?
Yeah, so when I'm elected to Congress, I'll do exactly the same thing I've done in the State House, which is to go in, put my head down, and work. And I think people appreciate that, you know, their elected representatives actually go up to Congress and work. And it's getting along with people, right? I mean, some of the basics, how to win friends and influence people. Yeah. But it's also, you know, letting people know where your priorities are and not showboating. And it's just not my style to do that. But I think people know that I'm a serious proponent for the issues that I talk about. And, you know, we'll go up there and get it done.
Okay, so you've been traveling the district. And tell me what folks have been saying about what their priorities are or what they would want you to focus on.
Well, what I have found is that people care about the things that I'm actually talking about. And they want to know that I support President Trump's agenda. Whoever wins this seat, and I believe it'll be our campaign, has 11 months from December 2nd to Election Day next year at the midterms to support Speaker Johnson and to support Donald Trump. It's a very short amount of time, and who knows what's going to happen in the midterms. I'm hopeful that we'll actually pick up seats and buck history on that, and I say that because of the job that President Trump has done. I think he will be rewarded for it, but Congress right now is a very slim majority, and we need everybody up there focused on moving the ball in a conservative direction, and that's exactly what I'm going to do up there.
Have you thought about Lord help us? But what would happen if the Democrats end up getting control?
Well, you started with Lord help us, and yes, I have thought about that a lot. We've been praying a lot, but
that's when you got to put on the helmet and fight.
It could happen, and we will have to fight. That's absolutely right. And that's what people are electing is somebody who's going to fight, who's going to represent their priorities, and who actually has a record of getting things done. And I do.
What do you think about this whole gerrymandering insanity? I mean, I spoke about this earlier in the program. You've got these Texas Democrats that have fled the state legislature, because they're accusing the Republicans of wanting to gerrymander, which I think obviously is silly because this has been going on for years and years and years, certainly and especially by the Democrats.
Yeah, look, if you're on the losing side, it's gerrymandering, right? And the Democrats are interesting to me because they talk about democracy and then flee having to vote.
Yes.
And, you know, they go to a sanctuary state like Illinois, which if you pull up their map of congressional districts, seems to be a template for how to gerrymander districts. I looked at it yesterday. It's absolutely stunning.
It's crazy. It's like a patchwork of neighborhoods that are like not even connected.
Not even I mean, they barely connect. They go down a highway or something. Yeah. It's absurd. But the Democrats here in Tennessee are no different. I'll be honest with you. You know, Afton Bain, who is running for Congress on the Democrat side, she's the self-declared AOC of Tennessee. She doesn't even live in the district she's trying to run for. So, the Democrats do all kinds of crazy things. And, look, Democrats like her don't believe in enforcing our borders. They don't believe in protecting life. They don't believe in defending parental rights. That's my focus here in this election. And look, I'm glad Texas is focused on similar things.
Oh, absolutely. I fully support, if they need to civilly arrest these folks, if they need to drag them back, if they need to change the law. This is what I think they should have done in Texas. They've done this before.
Mm-hmm.
The Democrats have done this before, as you know. Lee Reeves is joining us. So they should have, honestly, if they could have, changed the state law to say, okay, if either party flees the state to avoid voting, then whatever you have in the state legislature is the quorum.
I suspect they'll be changing some of their internal rules after this. But look, we don't have that. We don't have that situation here in Tennessee. We've done so many things right, and we are such a conservative state that that gets things done. And I've been part of that this past year. And we have a supermajority. If the Democrats walk out and flee to New York or Illinois or wherever they go, we could still get business done here in Tennessee.
I kind of wish they would not come back.
We're we'd be okay with it.
I think we would too. All right, very good. Lee Reeves, what's the website?
LeeReeves.com. Go check me out, support our campaign, and we'll win this thing.
All right, it is 8:20, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Turn off this mic. Turn off this mic. $8:22, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. Contours. I know it is, what is it today? August 5th. You still have like a month and a half of bathing suit weather. So if you're having trouble getting into that bathing suit, my friends at Contours, they can help you like they've helped me. Get a belly buster special right now for just $99. Now, if you've been hearing me do these commercials, maybe Chad Benson do these commercials, you know that most folks lose at least 2 inches across the middle when you go through these belly buster specials from my friends at Contours. They use that cutting edge red light technology. It is not only incredibly unique, but it is effective as well. Again, it's cutting edge. A lot of people have been talking about this red light technology. People have been coming from all across Middle Tennessee to check them out. You go to their website, you see how their belly buster therapy featuring red light technology actually does work. Right now, $99 to the first 10 callers. So you got to call right now. The phone lines, I didn't really know this, but whenever I do these commercials and it's the first 10 callers, the phone lines absolutely jam up. So you've got to call right now, 615-236-9960, 615-236-9960, $99 belly buster special going on right now from Contours. Find them online, contoursllc.com. $824, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Welcome on in. I was just speaking with Lee Reeves running to replace Mark Green in Congress, and we're talking about the fleeing Texas Democrats. And so one of the things that is, of course, going on, and it's a big, big story in the news cycle today, is the Democrats trying to, and I've got some audio, Democrats, trying to say that this is something that is only unique to the Republican Party. Definitely not.
We're not here to play political games. We're here to demand an end to this corrupt process. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Word.
We ask them to stop hiding things from the public. We ask them to stop doing things behind closed doors. We ask them to stop attacking Texas communities. They refused because their loyalty and fealty to Donald Trump overrides all other interests.
So that is just one of many comments the Democrats are making. Texas Democrats, by the way, they have done this before too. Mid-cycle, Texas Democrats who controlled the state legislature back in the 80s redrew state legislative districts mid-cycle to reinforce their majorities after losing ground in elections. This was done to counter Republican gains and was not tied to the census cycle. The move was controversial, led to legal challenges, though it was not struck down at the time. So Texas has done it. Democrats have done it. California has done it as well. Another instance is in California, early 1980s, where Democrats under the leadership of Congressman Philip Burton manipulated state legislative maps outside the standard cycle to protect incumbents after political shifts. This was less, they say, about population changes and more about securing partisan advantage.
This talk, the language that they're using makes me think of an idea of you and I, Joan, we're all confined by language law with the FCC on what can and can't be said. I think elected officials should have some kind of confinement. Who are they attacking? How are they being attacked?
Well, it's all about the language. It's all about what they will tell you. They will justify that by saying, well, you're attacking minority voters, is what they will say. You're attacking minority voters. But the reality is that they're not ultimately what they're doing. And by the way, there's nothing wrong, as you know, Sam, there's absolutely nothing wrong with what they're doing because both parties do it. They've always done it. The only reason that the Democrats are mad now is because they are going to be on the losing end. I like what Governor Abbott had to say about all this.
To be honest, the Texas maps are not going to be as extreme as those other blue states that you talked about. But another thing, and that is what Texas is doing under these new maps. 4 of the 5 new seats will be a majority Hispanic seats. One of the seats is going to restore the Barbara Jordan seat over in the Houston area. And so these are seats where Democrats are having to come to grips with the reality. And that is, they are now losing the votes of Hispanics and black voters in the state of Texas. And these districts are going to show that Hispanics and blacks, as well as others, are voting for Republican, and Republican is their candidate of choice. And we will ensure that will be achieved at the congressional level in the state of Texas.
Now, part of what's going on, and we spoke about this earlier, is they have fled to Chicago and J.D. Pritzker. And apparently, one of the things that they have done is they're staying in what's the hotel that they're staying in, Joan or Sam? They're staying in the hotel chain that J.D. Pritzker owns.
Right, and the Hyatt.
The Hyatts, okay. So for me, you now have Governor Greg Abbott ordering the Texas Rangers to launch investigations into these Democrats for felony bribery. This does extend to those who aided and abetted their escape. Can you imagine throwing J.D. Pritzker in jail? They'd have to raise taxes just to feed him.
Well, the beds in there, pretty narrow.
He couldn't fit.
Is he the Democrat version of Chris Christie?
Oh,
he is.
Without a doubt.
Who's bigger, Chris Christie or J.D. Pritzker? I don't even know. Anyway, reports indicate that many absentee Texas House Democrats have solicited or received funds to evade conducting legislative business and casting votes. They say under the Texas Penal Code, any of those Democrats who solicit, accept, or agree to accept such funds to assist in the violation of legislative duties or for purposes of skipping a vote may have violated, they say, federal bribery laws. And one last thing on this, then we got to go because I know that we're running late, but they fled the state in a $47 million jet. It was a private jet that cost $17,000 per hour. Now, of course, everybody who has a lick of sense knows that the Democrats are always screaming about climate change. Well, what about this particular jet? By the way, the flight to Chicago, cost nearly $100,000. Texas Republicans, they say, need to launch an emergency investigation into who paid for this seditious stunt. And so there you go. You know what I want to know? And maybe, Sam, you can find it. What is the environmental impact of this jet? I'm definitely curious. What is the environmental impact of this jet? We have Chris Hand and the crisscross handoff coming up next on Super Talk 99.7.
Good morning. It's 8:30, and I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. Governor Bill Lee declining to intervene in today's scheduled execution of Byron Black, the convicted killer on Tennessee's death row for decades for the murder of his girlfriend and her 2 young daughters in 1988. Now, his announcement came after the U.S. Supreme Court denied the many appeals that were filed by Byron Black's lawyers, citing his intelligence level and concerns over his implanted defibrillator. Black is scheduled to die at 10 o'clock this morning, about an hour and a half from now. The federal government will soon stop sending out paper checks for payment, part of President Trump's efforts to cut down on costs and to cut down on fraud. And that includes Social Security checks.
So if you receive a check in the mail each month, you will either have to sign up for that direct deposit or the money will be put on a prepaid debit card. Now, the change goes into effect September 30th.
That's WSMV4's Holly Thompson there. If you need a paper check, you can sign a waiver. You'll have to call Social Security for information on how to do that. A new option for families at the airport as officials take more steps to streamline security. ABC's Rhiannon Alley has more.
The TSA's new Families on the Fly campaign is geared towards groups traveling with kids 12 and under and creates dedicated security lanes for families, discounts on TSA PreCheck, and a dedicated PreCheck pre-check security line for military families. The program, which saw a limited launch in July, is now expanding to include major vacation destinations like Orlando, Orange County, California, and Honolulu.
And Nashville, too. BNA is participating in the Families on the Fly initiative. Market Numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com. Now, President Trump telling CNBC a short time ago that Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent does not want to replace Jerome Powell as the Fed chairman, but there are 4 other qualified candidates. Right now, the Dow Jones Industrials opened up this morning 53 points higher. The NASDAQ is up by 10. S&P 500 index is gaining 4 points. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Thank you, Joan. 8:33, Nashville's Morning News. Dan Mandis here talking to you about the Glock store. Now, today, these days, most new guns come optic ready right out of the box. But, by the way, Glock calls that MOS for Modular Optic System. But what if you bought your Glock before optics were a big thing? Does that now mean that you were left out? You need to buy a new Glock? Well, no, of course not. Lenny McGill always has your back. He's got you covered when it comes to all things Glock. Out of their 16 CNC machines, 3 of them are dedicated to cutting Glock slides to precisely fit the red or green dot optic of your choice. I've got a red. And by the way, they're going to do it in 10 days or less. And because you can just go to the store and drop it off, sometimes it is actually a lot less. And unlike the optic-ready Glocks, which of course rely on adapter plates to fit a variety of optics, your optic is going to sit lower, be more secure, and be more accurate. The Glock store has cut over 20,000 customer slides, and every one of them has been perfect. And they're really good that way at the Glock store. Now, if you've never shot a Glock with an optic, remember, only $6.99 gets you a 10-round sample pack of ammo. You do that, and you can fire any Glock in stock. That is the Glock store, minutes from the airport and worth the drive from anywhere. Online, glockstore.com, shoot270.com. $8:35 on Nashville's Morning News. Dan Mandis here for USS United Structural Systems. Now, I've been a client of theirs for years, actually. I've been telling you about them on the radio, but they've been out to my house several times as well. United Structural Systems, they are experts in waterproofing, concrete leveling, and foundation repair. This is a great company. They've helped me several times with my home. That is why I proudly endorse United Structural Systems. Now, I'm one of 30,000 satisfied customers. Listen to this recent review on Google. Guy says that USS was highly professional. The crew was phenomenal from start to finish. They treated his home as if they are working on their own. He does give USS 5 stars all the way, and do I. And I do as well. And do I. United Structural Systems, they're not going to charge you for any unnecessary repairs. You're not going to pay a dime until the work is done and you are a satisfied customer. Find them online, USSTN.com. We guarantee our best. Call USS at 615-488-7855, USSTN.com.
Got an accident on westbound 24 in Antioch. That's at Hickory Hollow Parkway, exit 60. Also, one in West Nashville, Briley Parkway, southbound at Robertson Avenue. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
8:37, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Welcome on into the Crisscross. Chris Hand is here.
What's up?
His show starts at 9 o'clock. And
It does. It does. Every day.
Sam
Show
is
starts
here.
at 9.
Joan is here as well. Your videos are killer, man.
I'm having fun, man.
Are you really having fun?
Yeah, I'm having a blast.
You know, some men, when the wife is away, some men play. But Chris learns a whole new thing with video.
Yeah, we're putting shorts on the YouTube page, and we got reels on the Instagram page. I did one about the harvesting of organs while people are alive. Still.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Dude, it's nuts.
Mhm.
Absolutely nuts. It's an old
That's
wives'
not real.
Yes, it is.
I know.
Yes, it is.
Watch the thing that Chris did,
I know.
Joan. You'll see that it's real.
If you were subscribed to the YouTube page, Joan, you would have seen it yesterday.
Oh, I see.
I saw it. Made me want to take it off my driver's license.
Oh, you're an organ donor?
I'm
No.
an organ
I am,
donor.
yeah.
I'm an organ donor.
You know that they're just going to let you die, or they're going to take them out of you while you're living.
My wife's got power of attorney.
You better get along with your wife then.
Yeah. She might send you in there early.
Imagine Sam gets in a fight with his wife and then he gets in a car crash. Let him die.
How much did you say you're going to give me for that gallbladder?
Oh, man. Anyway, so you're having fun with
Yeah.
all the video stuff.
And then me and
B and A hole was
the B&A hole was a good one.
Great.
That was a good one. And then me and Dan, we're hanging out today. I'm going to teach Dan how to do it.
Yeah, I'm going over to Casa de Chris.
Yeah.
Going over to Chris's house.
Teach him how to screen share, please.
I will.
For the love of God.
I know. We got to get videos on the dang Dan Mandis Nashville Morning News. You need it.
Show thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
no,
what we need.
I know how to do it. Sam is the one that doesn't know how to do it.
Sam.
It's always the producer.
It is.
You know,
Short bus just right over me.
got a lot of wheels on that bus too, man. Anyways, yeah, we'll
Be
start
careful.
doing
You
that.
don't want to run him off like the last guy, Dan.
Oh, stop it. Jiminy crickets. People still asking, but KGB went off to find another job.
He went on a soul searching quest.
He spent more time with his family.
He told me he was going to become a flight attendant.
I suggested that that's
in the
something
world?
that he could do because he talks to everybody and
That
good
is
money.
the worst possible trait of a flight attendant, talking to people.
Yeah, keep it moving.
Give me my peanuts and my soda and move on. I don't want to talk to you.
I don't think they still do peanuts anymore.
It's pretzels.
pretzels.
You know what the
yeah.
worst thing they do? When, like, I don't know what airline it is, but maybe Amy would know, but where they give you, oh gosh, they smell so bad. And so the entire plane
What
smells.
is it? What is
it's
it?
like
The little biscotti cookies?
no, not the biscotti cookies. Rock. I
The
actually buy
Stroop
those.
waffle?
Oh, the Stroop waffles. Shout out to Denmark.
No, it's not that either. It's like a mix of doodads and that kind of. You remember doodads when you
No.
were a kid? Joan, do you remember doodads?
I'm not old enough to remember.
You
doodads.
are
Are we
too.
talking trail mix?
Yeah, it's like trail mix. Thank you, Sam.
Okay.
It's like trail
Okay.
mix. And so they'll give you this trail mix, and then the entire plane smells. Yeah.
It's the raisins. That's what does it.
No, it's not the raisins. It's some other whatever.
It's the person
Anyway,
next to you.
It's the other wrinkled thing on the plane.
need audio if I could, Sam. What do you have for this segment, Chris? Please.
All right, so I got something that's pretty crazy. Do you remember what happened at the WNBA game? Of course, it's the only time we talk about the WNBA, but there was an instrument of pleasure thrown on the court.
Yes.
Okay, so it keeps happening.
Aren't they up to like 3?
They're up to 3,
Okay.
which is
Are
insane.
they all green or is it just?
They've all been green. They've all been green, which is it kind of makes it a little bit more funny.
I have a sounder
There's,
for this.
There's some uniformity. Hit it.
Yeah.
How'd that get in there? Oh, don't cry.
Don't cry. The WNBA is crying though. The WNBA is crying, and it's really ratcheted up a bit.
Yeah.
An arrest has been made.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
A fan has been arrested after allegedly throwing a sex toy onto the WNBA court during the Golden State Valkyries and Atlanta Dream game. This individual will be banned from all games for at least 1 year, in addition to getting arrested.
What a shame.
No, not a year.
What a shame. You know what I'd be willing to bet? I'd be willing to bet that dude went in there just to hurl the dildo.
Yes, and I'm of the opinion that we're gonna see a spike in ticket sales because other individuals want to throw those personal pleasure devices onto the court.
Clay Travis shared something about how you can now bet on the next time it will be thrown.
So good.
What are you in for?
Oh.
Hurling dildos.
Oh, jeez.
I think you could say that. You could say that on the air.
I think so. I
Yeah.
think so. There's an AI video going around of RFK Jr. addressing it too. Have you seen that?
No.
Okay, I'm sending it to your DMs right now because it's just too good not to play. I was unsure if we were allowed to play it or not, but since you're throwing around the term so willy-nilly, like fans at a WNBA game, then I feel like we're safe. So,
Well, yeah. I mean, it is a news story. So
it is a news story, and you don't want people to get hurt. So this has been going around.
All right, my audio up.
It's RFK Jr. laying down the green dildo-shaped hammer on the WNBA.
It's a circus in a war zone. I never thought I'd have to address this, but these overgrown behemoth women are just trying to airball free throws and blow layups in peace. The WNBA was never meant to be the UFC, okay? The Sisterhood of Traveling Elbows has been gunning for Caitlin Clark for far too long, and now the league is using dildo mortars to finish the job. Everyone thinks it's rogue fans, but the stadiums have mechanized dildo mortars with laser-guided targeting systems.
Oh, my
This is not him.
And it's the WNBA executives behind it. They want to murder Caitlin Clark and the other gal, too.
Clearly.
Sorry, I can't be bothered to learn WNBA player names.
There you go. All right, good. Yeah.
That's RFK addressing the controversy, not AI.
The Home Office has told me to stop using the D word.
Oh.
Sorry.
The office of no
phallus.
or the Home Office?
The Home Office.
I see.
So
it's the office of dope.
Yes.
All right. So
Well, hey. Oh, sorry.
RFK's still
Shut
going
up,
off.
RFK.
He's still going off.
Hey, Lord, man never shuts up.
But yeah, there was an arrest made. Poor
Okay,
guy.
so who did they arrest?
Who did they arrest? I don't know.
Because I think that some people were saying this was like an inside job. Like this is the WNBA's brilliant marketing strategy.
We're talking about it. Sophie Cunningham said, "Stop throwing dildos on the court. You're going to hurt one of us." And somebody replied to her, "Stop playing basketball in our dildo range."
Delbert Carver identified as perp in WNBA sex toy throwing incident.
Wait, his name is Delbert?
His name is Delbert.
Of course it is.
Tells you everything you need to know.
Why wouldn't it be?
Not all heroes wear capes.
He has been booked in the Clayton County Jail in Jonesboro, Georgia.
All right. What do you think? Well, you guys, we should start like doing bets on when the next one will show up.
I went to a WNBA game and all I got was a lousy rap sheet.
Let's see here. So, guess what I'm doing, Chris?
What are you doing?
I don't care who you are.
I'm going to see the Backstreet Boys.
Yep.
I am. You should see Chris's face
That tracks,
now.
right?
Is there going to be a geriatric mosh pit in the front? Are you gonna wear cargo pants to honor the era?
Number one, they don't have mosh pits at Backstreet Boys concerts, although I wouldn't know because I've never been to one. But you know, if they had a mosh pit at a Backstreet Boys show, they'd probably serve lattes. So Amy wanted to go see the Backstreet Boys at the Sphere in Las Vegas, which is something that I've wanted to do for.
You're going to the Sphere?
Yeah.
Oh, so you got to lead with that because you can make the argument for going to the Sphere regardless of who's there. Like how many people do it with the Ryman, right?
Yeah.
Like you got to go to the Ryman because it's a cool venue. So you go, I'm going to the Sphere. That's been a goal of mine. Let me help you out.
Sure.
You're not going to the Backstreet Boys concert. That happens to be just a happy little accident, a coincidence, if you will.
Yeah.
You found an opportunity to go to the Sphere.
You know, whoever would have thought that when I'm going to the Sphere, the Backstreet Boys will be there too?
It's a coincidence.
Crazy is what it is.
Just love how you keep playing the same song.
It's the only one I could.
As long as you love me.
Okay, now here's the thing.
Singing?
Anybody, not only did Chris Hand just sing,
yeah,
he closed his eyes.
I did.
And really, like.
He pictured himself in that outfit that he had
I
his.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what Sam said about you?
What did he say?
He said that the Backstreet Boys are probably going to be posing like you did in that photograph that you posted on Facebook.
They wish.
All white suits.
They wish.
All white suits. No, in fairness to me, Amy has always wanted to see the Backstreet Boys, and she made mention of the fact that she might want to go, and she mentioned it again and again.
Oh, so you finally got the
again,
hint. Yeah.
And finally, I'm going to the Backstreet Boys. And I guess everybody wears white at these concerts. So Amy's picking us out white outfits.
Oh, nice.
That's right.
Love it. You guys are both aware that the New Kids on the Block are better, right?
Who are you?
It's definitely in sync.
Just letting you know.
New Kids on the Block. At
Whoa,
least
whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Everybody.
That's way better.
See, Chris and I could do like a New Kids, Backstreet Boys song off.
We just found the next episode of Mostly Peaceful with Dan and Chris.
Call it Old Men in Alleyways.
Yeah. Old Men in Alleyways. Anyway, whatever. So I think it'll be fun.
No, dude, going to that venue is going to be dope.
I can't wait.
If they do a Coldplay Kiss Cam, you got to run away and make it seem like you're cheating on somebody.
Make it seem like, oh my
you
gosh,
gotta do it.
that is so funny. So, yeah, I am, and it's going to be just a quick weekend trip. So that way I can't lose as much money as I did last time in Las Vegas. Anyway.
How much money did you lose last time?
Oh, my goodness gracious.
They took your shorts.
You know what? I lost a lot of money in Las Vegas last time. I was doing really, I've got to learn how to walk away. When I gamble, I've got to learn to walk away. Because at one point I was like $1,000 up.
There you go.
And then I left $500 down. So
oh, no.
yeah, that's okay. By the way, I'm very excited about our next Mostly Peaceful with Dan and Chris.
Yeah.
We are going to be reading our hate mail.
Yes. No, well, here's what happened. Dan goes, let's read hate mail. And I was like, okay, cool. I'll compile some mean texts because that's what I get. Dan sent me this email. And I was like, dude, you should contact the FBI. I don't get emails like this at all.
Wow, it's that bad?
I'm like, what the heck, dude?
Oh, it's really bad. Yeah, I get nasty ones. I do.
That was harsh.
Mm-hmm.
We got a text from Britain, actually, when you brought up doing hate mail on the podcast. Somebody from across the pond wanted to text in.
Somebody from Britain?
Yeah, someone from over there.
What do they want? Are they listening in Britain?
Yeah, apparently. So, hi, I heard Dan is doing hate mail readout on his next podcast, so I wanted to provide a submission. As I am one of those on the left who regularly listens to you. I wanted to say you're an absolute joy to listen to, and thank you for all the mornings that you have kept me entertained while I work. I live in London right now, and so it's great to have a program that is running so early in the morning with nice banter, a lovely community, and an insight into what the political right is talking and thinking. Anyway, I guess if this is meant to be hate mail, I should say something bad. So I guess you're too mean to Sammy. Lay off the guy. He does a great job.
Yeah, we stopped listening to England in 1776. So,
you know, instead of London calling, that was London texting.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dan Mandis. He's here all week.
Another show we could do like Dan jokes.
We should.
Yeah, we can do that, not dad jokes, but Dan jokes.
Gotta have the crickets ready in the background.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big fan.
Just have them on a loop. Just pot it up. That's all you got to do. All right. So let's see here. Did we have anything else?
No, we covered the WNBA as thoroughly as one can.
Yes.
We covered a tease for the Mostly Peaceful podcast. Was there something else you want to talk about?
I think for the first time, Joan's a raccoon died.
Oh, Joan.
I didn't do it.
You know what I asked? Okay, so honest to goodness truth. So Amy and I were sitting on the back porch. Amy says, aw. And I said, what? And she says, Joan's raccoon died.
Oh.
I was texting Joan at the very same time about something else. So then I text back to Joan and I said, what, I don't rate enough to be told that the raccoon died? I have to find out from my wife when I'm texting you about something else? Man. And then of course
I feel like the child who's been split between divorced parents, you know?
And then what?
But I think that you're Dan's news person, so you need to deliver the news to Dan first.
Right.
I feel
that wasn't news. That was kind of like a personal thing. So that was an Amy thing.
Do you like Amy better than me? You like
now
Amy
you've
better
asked the
than me?
question.
Oh, why? She didn't. Okay, so
No, I
this
like Amy for
the
different
silence
reasons.
is deafening. Do you notice that?
So
Silence
then-
is violence, Joan.
So then, do you know what I said to Joan then was, oh, the raccoon died. Did you kill it? Or did I shoot it? And Joan didn't respond. And I, honest to goodness, Joan, I thought you were mad at me.
No, I was on the golf course at the time.
Oh, okay. Very good. Wow. So a raccoon dies and you go golfing.
She said, she texts Amy. She goes, the raccoon died. Now watch this drive.
Oh, man.
Classic Joan, am I right?
Classic Joan. All right, real quick, what do you got coming up?
Well, we're going to talk about that interview that Donald Trump just gave on First Squawk.
Yes.
They were actually pretty harsh on him. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about redistricting. And we'll talk about the grand jury investigation that may or may not be taking place in the Sunshine State.
All right, very good. And Joan, it's 8:53. And what do we got coming up?
Coming up, a third person now arrested, but investigators haven't been able to locate accused quadruple killer Austin Drummond. Dan, I'm talking. And
oh God, my mic's on.
And
you just heard how Sam and I communicate.
Yeah.
Didn't I just say yeah?
Yeah, Dan gets annoyed. He goes, yeah.
I got it, man. I got it. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Joan. Go ahead, Joan.
Okay.
Yes.
So nuclear power on the moon. We're going to tell you about that idea, too. Those stories coming up here at 9 o'clock on Super Time.
For the record, Joan's way too excited about this moon stuff. I'm going to have a talking with her off the air.
Is the moon real?
I think the moon's real. I don't think we got there.
Oh, really?
Okay.
It's the phone call that throws me off.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good.
I can't get service
Let's go
in the
down that
mountains.
rabbit
I can't
hole.
get service in the mountains. They get service on the moon.
Yeah, great point, Chris. Great point. All
okay.
right. 8:54. Nashville's Morning News on WTN. Dan Mattis here for Loan Pronto. Maxed out on credit cards. If you've been struggling with high interest debt, you could pay it all off in days with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan. Get cash out right now without touching your low rate first mortgage. No appraisals, no waiting, and no BS. The Rapid Equity Loan program at Loan Pronto, it is amazing. Now, one Loan Pronto client just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. Now, they paid off debt, they renovated their kitchen, and they cut their monthly expenses by $1,800. That is a huge turnaround. Loan Pronto, instant approvals, low rates, and no hard credit pull up front. Now, your home equity is yours. Use it to get cash to consolidate your debt down to one easy, low monthly payment. Find them online, loanpronto.com. Call them and start the conversation. Tell them Dan told you to reach out. 615-499-5780. 615-499-5780. Loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender. NMLS 166-1781 on approved credit and MLSconsumeraccess.org.